everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Rise of the Ordning. I hope you are doing well. My name is Zari. I will be your dungeon master on this ride. And with us, we have our amazing barbarian fighter Komori, played by Kenny, and our druid wizard, played by, or Tzira, played by Cece, Homebrew, and Ravasi. It's just Ravasi. No, it's
just Ravasi.
It's yeah.
Nothing else about me is important, guys. It's just Ravasi.
It's just Ravasi now. Not the fact that you're my little
sister.
You mean
Ravasi, the twink extraordinaire?
Yep, that's me.
Ravasi, the twink slayer of twinks?
Okay, guys. Reeling it back in, we're gonna do some brief announcements before we get started on things. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody who hung out for the last arc. And just a little bit of a reminder and a shout out that we had an amazing guest star, BW, who joined us. If you have not gotten the chance to follow him on TikTok, please go do so. And also, I put the link to his Discord channel that he just started in my Discord server, as well as on the description of our last video on YouTube. So make sure you go check that out. I will drop it in this one description as well, because he was amazing. And then, as you notice, we no longer have a Nyx with us. So Shorty did step away from the campaign last episode. We're all so sad, but life moves on. So we'll see what happens in the future, you know? Or if we're gonna run with 3 players, who knows?
Wait, who's Shorty?
I know, guys.
No, stop. We're not doing this bit again.
We mourn in different ways.
Anyways, so just one super brief announcement other than, heyo, go check out all of our stuff. I did launch a brand new campaign, a brand new actual play that is a D&D duet style, so it's just me and one player. It is a podcast, and so it is up both on Spotify as well as YouTube podcast, or you could just watch it as a YouTube video, but it is an isekai, kind of more cozy romance, like Feywild campaign that's really fun. It does have some psychological horror elements. It's gonna be amazing. And also it's very gay. So if you like, we were like, we have to release this during Pride Month. So with that, just make sure you go check out the first episode of that. The second episode of that will be up in the next couple of days, and it'll be very fun. So, but hello, if you're with us on Twitch, it's so lovely to have you. Make sure to snag your bingo card and chat with us. And if you have to dip, this episode goes up on Saturday on YouTube. So hello, our friends on YouTube. If you are hanging out there, we hope you are doing well, and come hang out with us on Twitch live Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay.
You were cowards.
Let's get started, my dears.
That's one way to go.
Yeah, it just needed a lot of noises. So
yeah, sometimes you just need a hard reset like that. Anyway.
Me. Last we left off, the group was successful in their search for the Frost Giant stronghold and procuring the conch. After stealing a rest in a whole frozen stronghold looking for you, you managed to sneak out and get a drop on the Jarl's ship. Ravasi drew the Jarl attention as Odds and crew freed the White Dragon and convinced him to draw some fire from the extraneous giants so that you could one-on-one fight the Jarl. You were very successful at using a extremely scary tactic from Tzira to kill the Jarl, and managed to escape quickly, stopping to pass off some dragon eggs to 2 very angry white dragons, and escaping with your life. Safely back on the ship, you celebrated a job well done despite the necromancer Lilith getting away. Nyx had been given an order from her patron to pursue her aunt, as her threat to the world is destroying more souls than the giant problem at the present, and gave you a promise to eventually meet back up with you. Odds, still very upset at the necromancer, wanted to go with Nyx. You enjoyed a almost 2-week journey back to the Benate Spirem with each other, saying goodbyes on the dock as Nyx and Odds were shifted away in Bob's magic light. The space now feels much quieter as you turn to your considerably smaller group. Tzira, you notice that Mipit is perching on your shoulder after digging through your bag and is holding a vial of acid in her mouth. That does not look like yours.
Oh, I will quickly take that from her.
Uh,
Okay, this is my ribbon.
She had been digging through your bag.
Mippet, sweetheart, where did you find this?
You get, like, cause she like, is connected in your brain, and she just kind of, like, starts digging back through your bag again.
I'm gonna start digging through my bag and hoping that there's no other stuff I haven't put there.
So, you notice that your, like, personal bag is completely full of vials of acid, and all of your clothes is missing.
Oh, god damn it, odds.
Are you good?
Odds took my clothes and left me acid, which granted I'm thankful for because I have a plan. However,
Don't you have the same thing as me? And he like moves the shift weave to a fancier outfit.
well, yes, I do, but mine can only be robes.
Kinda
Okay,
lame
that's
though.
what you really wear though.
This is true, actually.
My clothes! They're my clothes! I don't have to wear them to not be a fan that they're stolen. They're mine! I'm good.
Ravasi, your bag feels clanky too.
Yeah, I'll poke through it.
Yeah, there's another, like, 20 vials of acid, and all of your clothing is missing.
Good thing he only had one pair of extra pair of clothing, because he only uses the shift weave. Oh, my fourth favorite shirt. Oh well. I will add 20 vials of acid, DM.
Okay. Komori, you have been afflicted of the same. 20 vials of acid in exchange for your clothing.
I didn't have extra clothes. This is all I wear.
That's true. You have, like, a pair of pajamas that you no longer have.
Oh no, that one awkward scrap of clothes. How many vials of acid?
20.
20.
Damn!
Fun fact,
This is-
guys, in D&D Beyond, you can only have up to 10 in a stack.
That's why I have flasks that I'm filling, because those hold 4 vials of acid per flask. I have
Amazing.
14 full flasks now.
Hey, you better fucking believe that this woman is simply just having lots of sections of acid. I could sell this for
Oh boy, okay.
I could sell this for 250 gold apiece. Actually, I think they're just 25, but
I think they're 25. Also, I will acknowledge...
I will remove my fine clothes.
Thank you. I will acknowledge that I have not changed the character cycle yet, so there still is a Nyx and an odds in there, but it's fine. I just did not get to it, so everybody suffered. I was, like, just saw Nyx and I was like, oh shoot, I didn't say anything about that. Okay, but anyway, so you are standing in the city, realizing odds' prank, and, you have the day. It is just past morning. It's probably like 10-ish o'clock in the morning. And you do have teleportation circles available to you at the Arcane Brotherhood. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what I'm doing with myself at this point.
I'm gonna look at Tzira.
I'm going to confess and do some penitence at a local church, and then we're going to go home if nothing needs to be done. Do any of you need to do anything?
Why do you need
What?
to do penitence before going home?
Because I'm terrified anyway.
Oh, I forget that
Um,
sometimes people do religious things for, like, personal reasons.
That's a thing.
Exactly.
You want to go get some brunch, Komori?
Oh fuck yes.
To preface, Komori, have you ever been to Simona City before? No, okay.
She's gonna sit there and just think for a minute, and just think, nope.
Not that you can
They
remember
better-
anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's right. I didn't tell you guys.
Oh,
Oh, what?
I will tilt my head.
So remember when I died for a bit,
Uh-huh.
and
Yes.
I remembered some stuff.
Uh-huh.
Flip open her page in my book.
I'm going to slowly pull your pen out of your hand.
Anyway, but it was flashbacks to a lot of the similar stuff, and I know I mentioned the giant eye thing and whatnot, and how certain bits were a little more vivid this time. I saw an image of her, of my childhood friend,
Oh.
and it was so vivid. And I heard an older woman calling out to us as we were running. Her name is, or was, I don't know. I don't know if it's was or is at this point. Anything could have changed, but Rialta.
Rialta.
Tzira, roll me a history check.
Yippee! I love history checks.
Ravasi, you get free knowledge.
Ooh!
12. Grody. You know what? I'm going to replace
You
that.
don't need to. You don't need to.
Okay.
Don't
How do you
replace
spell
it.
Rialta, DM?
RIA, Ria, the Ria.
Oh no, I spelled that real wrong.
It's okay, so did I.
Hold on.
RIA.
Hold on, let me check. RIALTA.
Oh, it wasn't that
Ravasi,
bad.
Not that bad.
you
Yep.
recognize this name immediately because it was the largest source of gossip about the last 3 years throughout Cellstone. There was a half sea elven woman who was essentially a lady of one of the largest nation in the United Republic of Isles called Iswi. And her name was Rialta Costa, and she married the king of Sailstone and is now Queen Rialta. And she has changed so much. The whole Lords of Pentacles were very sexist, and your mom was the only woman ever allowed anywhere near that, and even then they usually preferred to speak to your father.
Yeah.
And so you heard so much shit about how this queen came in and she was mixing things up and she was actually involved in the politics, which the Lord of Pentacles were like pissed about because King Bennett, the current King Bennett the Sixth, is very hands-off. He's like, I would much rather do my own thing. I don't want to get involved in politics. And so it seems that he was very happy to have a queen come in who wanted to handle all of this stuff. So you know exactly who that is. And it kind of checks out. Either that's a really popular name or, sort of lady of the United Republic of Isles is now the queen of your country. Tzira,
Yeah.
you would know all of this knowledge too without like the down low on the Lord of Pentacles.
Gotcha.
You're just gonna, because I got to see her because I looked into her mind, and Ravasi is just going to clamp both your shoulders and go, Rialta, like Queen Rialta,
Oh my god, the real.
and just shake you a little bit.
Why
Like,
are you shaking me?
like the queen of my fucking country, Rialta.
I don't know.
Why is it that everyone
I mean, I remember she
on
was
this
also
quest-
a sea elf, but
Yeah, no, she is. Fuck. Half.
okay. What are the chances? What are the chances?
Not very large. Also, if I know anything about fate versus luck, this isn't fucking coincidence.
Ravasi, I think this is the one time I can say, go take a smoke or something. Like, you need to
think I
relax. You're
think I
freaking
need-
out over something that might not even be that big of a deal.
No, she's the fucking queen.
We don't know that.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I
There's
think
not a lot of half.
What are the chances that
Rialta.
my old best friend, who probably doesn't remember me to save anyone's life, if we're being honest, is actually her?
I am going
What are
to gesture to all of us. If I had a copper coin, for every time I have learned someone in this party is connected to royalty, or someone very noble, I would now have 4 fucking copper coins!
I mean, that isn't a lot, but I guess that's weird that it's happened 4 times, huh?
I know!
But also, again, I'm
At
kind
this
of calling
point,
bullshit.
I'm sorry. Is he's gonna start sketching what Queen Rialta looks like?
Okay. You have minor
I'm sure-
illusion. You could just minor illusion her.
Yeah, he minors illusions her.
Okay. It looks like the image that you got of your best friend. She was like maybe 7.
Mm-hmm.
Very close. Very similar piercings in her ears, but more. The hair is the same coloring, where that it's very dark at the top near her roots and fades into like a pastel seafoam green. And she has the same shade of kind of blue tealish skin and the very same facial features. Tzira, you recognize this immediately as the woman that you saw in the mirror when you were looking at the when you were kind of looking at when you were summoning the thoughts of Komori's friend of the past. And also, like, this is definitely, the queen. You haven't seen her, Tzira, but you've heard of her. And Ravasi very obviously has seen her.
Your friend's the queen, Komori.
And just she does that thing where it's like she's about to say something, stops, and just goes,
We're getting
"Fuck
mimosas.
me.
We're gonna go get mimosas.
I thought I was the normal one out of all of us."
There's no normal here.
No, but everyone else was royal, and I thought I was a 5-piece McNobody.
I mean,
Now it turned out I might be related to royalty, and I'm a fucking freak.
you're not a fucking. Well, to be fair, those usually aren't mutually exclusive.
That's actually, they tend to occur alongside one another.
Very commonly, shockingly, actually. One of the royal people, apparently there's something weird in his brain, and he only finds left feet sexually attractive.
I've heard of that one. I'm backing him up, Komori. You need to know
Only
this
left
is
feet.
true.
Only left feet.
It's actually very interesting because he keeps holding a left-footed clog contest. I hope he
This
succeeds.
is true. You know what? Yes, I forgot about that.
All of a sudden, I feel better about my status in life.
I mean, look. It's just how it goes. You and I are gonna go get morning drunk. Tzira,
Yep.
have fun with your religious guilt. We're gonna go drinking.
Tell God we said hi.
I will.
Have fun with your religious guilt. We're gonna go drinking. Someone put that in the quotes, please.
But I also just love the last bit of it. Tell God we said hi.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So This conversation happened on the ferry as you were ferrying between the two cities, and you end up back on the mainland. Tzira, very easily you can find the Church of Simona here, and the rest of you can also, the rest of you, the two of you, can go find a brunch place that is kicking and serving mimosas. They do have bottomless mimosas. You're
Thank
welcome.
God, I need it.
Do they have, importantly, different kinds of juice?
Yes.
Oh, please. We
We
need
are-
more flavors.
Oh, yeah.
This group really likes mimosas.
Yes.
Look,
I'm here
We
for
are
it.
brunch girlies.
I'm a brunch girly.
I'm a brunch girly!
We are all brunch girlies.
You know
At
what's
heart,
funny?
we are all brunch girlies,
Okay.
and I love raspberry mimosas.
I need you all to know we've been left with the brunch girlies because Shorty was not a brunch girly. Shorty and I debated the validity of brunch very often. More often than you would think.
What I'm hearing is when you guys come visit me at some point, I'm going to be taking you to, it's a bit of a drive, a restaurant that's called Mimosa, where you can get
Yes.
flights of, they have like, I kid you not, 15 different kinds. They also have
Holy fuck.
short rib eggs Benedict.
Oh, I'm about to
And-
nut.
I choked on my
and
teeth.
waffle egg Benedicts.
Oh.
Okay. Anyway,
Oh.
you guys find a place that is exactly that. You can get
I want
whatever the
mimosas.
fuck you just
Yes,
said
yes,
and so
yes,
many
yes.
mimosas.
Eggs Benny, eggs Benny. I can't have Bennies now. No.
So
Oh.
anyway, you all have a lovely brunch, and Tzira, you managed to snag some sort of pastry off the street on your way. Sad pastries and prayer.
Sad pastries and prayer.
Just a little communion wafer.
Tzira, as we kind of follow you to this church, it has the very typical architecture of all churches to Lady Simona, with the pillars and the flowing curtains of chiffon in between them. And you head inside. This one's rather small. It does seem that they have like a little bit of an area where they can serve the community, and you make your way easily without being contested into one of the back areas where there's like a quiet area to pray and reflect and sit. And I guess the question is what is going through Tzira's mind? Or is it Iris now?
It is this. What she is trying to do as she gets into this quiet space, right, is her coatl mask is set to the side. She spends a solid 5 or 10 minutes just cleaning her face jewelry and her face veil. And she's focusing her mind to be fully Iris again, at least as much as she can. And there's swirling through her mind worry about how Komori and Ravasi are going to be received, worry about how the first time that her parents have potentially heard about her from outside sources has been at a party yacht. There is worry about basically her pushing back against all of their advice, and the fact that she's been lying for a year at least. But it's similar to trying to rake a sand garden, I'd almost say, of just trying to tamp everything down until she can straighten the worry out into something solid that's at least straight and unmoving in her brain. And by the time that she leaves the building, Tzira has been packed neatly into a corner of her mind, and Iris will be who will come out, stock straight and with a ever calm look in her eyes.
Okay. As you change into the proper robes, the proper veil, and head your way to where you knew your friends were having brunch.
Alrighty, have you all been having a good time?
Ravasi's gonna look at you, and then he is going to slide a very buttery, delicious-looking pastry across the table. Saved it!
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Also,
Uh,
I know you wouldn't want the liquor, but there are like 6 different kinds of juices on the table right now.
Thank you. I suppose, is there anything else that the two of you would like to tackle while we're in town, or any questions that you have for me?
Did God say hi back?
Important question.
In the way that God does.
Where's the gods, I guess, huh?
Do you have any rules to Tzira? And he's giving you the look of like, you know what I'm asking beyond manners.
She'll nod. First off, please only refer to me as Iris whenever we are within the confines of the city. My parents do not know that Tzira exists, as it were, at least to my knowledge. Volano may have changed that.
Secret
Yes.
traveling names, of course, of course.
Indeed. Once we are in the High Silence, which is a portion of the city, no speaking in the streets is to be allowed. And generally, if you're in the main parts of the house, please keep any talking to a severe minimum. And
So I should just be quiet, okay.
I really should have taught you more sign language besides curse words. And toilet.
Yeah.
I know, but it was worth it.
I did teach you toilet. It's very important.
It is. It has saved me so much.
Luckily, Komori, my assumption is that they will cast telepathic bond and include you in the spell whenever we enter the house.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
It's only active thoughts. It's not like the detect thoughts I've done.
I
Exactly.
know, but it's more so I don't want to embarrass you.
It's okay, I can do it all on my own.
I was about to say that's very kind of you, Komori.
Well,
I
mean,
appreciate
we're meeting your parents. I don't know. It's
Your
it's something
parents.
that's
Yes.
it's bugged you. I don't know. I don't want to make things worse.
You're all good. And I guess the only third thing is they're a little bit touchy about the visions and the prophecies and all of that. So just please make it sound like I'm not pushing my mind closer to insanity.
He is just giving you like that brilliant smile. Of course, Tzira.
Iris, so thank you. Bossy,
I'm
please.
talking to Tzira.
Enjoy getting all your Tziras out while you can.
Tzira.
I love that they're role playing, but they're actually tipsy on mimosas right now.
What else would I be doing, DM? I'm an actor. I say I don't have any liquor on me, but I'm very good
You're
at
an actor. I'm just an embarrassment.
You are not embarrassment. I will fist fight you. Legal.
All right. With that, you get some very strong black cold brew from another cart on your way back to the Arcane Brotherhood. And take like a little bit of a walk to sober up a bit as you...
Ravassi's not planning on getting sober.
Okay, valid. Absolutely valid.
Komori is, though.
A little bit tipsy. Just a little bit.
You travel back to the Arcane Brotherhood and show your little notes at the front door, and they eventually require proof that you've killed the Jarl, with which I believe you took his rune or something like that.
Yes.
And so you show that and let them know that you killed the main Jarl and that the giants would be scrambling and they have no leader at the moment.
Ravasi also pulls out a chunk of his hair, a little bit of scalp still attached.
Oh my gosh.
He's braided the hair.
Okay. The guy's very creeped out.
Sometimes people just steal things.
But they request where you would like to go in Simona City. Tzira, Iris, you know of 2 arcane circles. There's one in the University District, and there's a second that is in the High Silence that you would have permission to use with your station.
So, one moment I'm gonna roll to see. This is a decision that I gotta roll for.
Valid.
Alrighty, she is cowboying up and is not going to put off seeing her parents or letting them know that she's home, and is going to look at the rest of the party. If you would like a more direct version and I suppose quieter entrance in sorts, that is, we can take the entrance into the High Silence. However, I will not force you all to, as that can be a rather jarring transition, especially for, and I'll kind of nod at you, Ravasi.
I can make enough. I can handle my own personal problems. No worries about me.
All right. I just thought it polite to ask.
I did have an important question.
I will nod.
Your parents.
Yes.
If you were to describe each of them in 3 words, what would those words be?
For a moment, you see the calm face of Iris flicker just for a second. Let's see. My father is astute, ambitious.
You don't need to finish an alliteration, but it would sound nice.
He sees the wide picture. My mother is incredibly perceptive, intuitive, and whip smart intelligent.
Perceptive, what was the middle one?
Intuitive.
He like ponders for a second. I can work with that.
I suppose this is the other time to tell you that they will absolutely look into every word that you say, so wording matters.
And then he smiles even more. Perfect.
You just... She's been talking telepathically, but this one's almost deadpan. Please don't fuck this for me.
Why would I fuck it for you?
Oh, God. Okay.
That's why I said I would be quiet.
With that, you get shuffled along very quickly from the Arcane Brotherhood, who had 0 patience for your conversation.
Hey! This is Silk!
Shoved into the Arcane Circle. And with that, you are teleported across the continent to a brand new place. And as your vision, fades and comes back, you are in a very similarly architectured open-aired room to what you've always seen the temples to Lady Simona as. It is white limestone pillars that are very, if you need a architecture anchor, they're very Greek pillars, like the Greco-Roman style pillars. with curtains of gauze that are sweep between them. This circular room is open-aired and has many circles etched into the floor. And as you kind of look out, it looks like you are on top of a plateau, and as you're looking down into a sprawling city on top of this plateau. There's green everywhere. Everything seems to be made out of this very similar white limestone. They don't have a lot of wooden buildings, and there are plants upon plants and rivers and little small creeks that wind between. And then off past it in the distance is the desert that you can barely see on the horizon line. It seems that you are at the top of the plateau as it kind of goes up a little bit into the mountains. Ravasi, you especially would know, and you're kind of like backed up there into the top of the mountains. And you see what looks to be a woman in red and golden robes comes forward, nods to each of you, and in sign language says, like, Ravasi, you would be able to understand this, but she essentially addresses to Tzira and says, "Welcome back, Miss Vervaine. Are these people with you?"
Indeed they are. These are my two guests, Ravasi and Komori. Thank you very much for the welcome.
And they understand the silence and the peace here?
I shall do a dramatic bow.
I'm going to slightly clumsily follow suit with it.
She then reaches into her robes and pulls out these two, they look like the veiled scarves that all of the followers of Lady Simona wear, in kind of a dark maroon with a gold edging around it. And except these ones are not veils for your mouth, they're just simply like little scarves. And she hands one to each of you and just kind of signs to Tzira, let them know, or sorry, Iris at this point, let them know to keep them on there as this is their ticket to remain in the city. And just gestures for you to leave when you want to.
Mm-hmm. I will communicate that back, and I will start walking, leading the other two. The scarves are a symbol that you both acknowledge the peace and have dedicated yourself to keeping it. Should you not have it on, you will likely be seen as somebody who has broken these rules and be escorted back to the Great Gates.
Do I need to? And he, like, very fancily, like, wraps it around his mouth.
He does not need to.
No.
Just displayed on their person somewhere.
I'm going to wrap it around my arm where it's just going to be very obvious.
I'm gonna do it as, like, a little breast pocket, like a pocket square.
That's cute.
Thank you.
You are led through an almost silent part of the city. You hear noise, but it is the rustling of leaves, the occasional bird call, lots of wind chimes. You occasionally hear a bell from, like, a loud bell noise from one of the lower districts that you're kind of standing over. And all of these cobblestone streets in stone lead kind of up, and you can see this huge temple that looks almost exactly like every temple to Lady Simona you've ever seen, with the same pillars, the same large double doors with the imprint of the scales on them. And Iris leads you closer to that, but then peels off towards the west side, and you're walking past huge manors. You're walking past gardens upon gardens, and it seems that most houses have some sort of, like, garden space, and that there's a lot of natural open to the public areas. There are some, like, small coffee shops and shops here and restaurants and stores, but everyone in this area is primarily silent. They do not seem to be speaking at all. They speak in sign language, or you assume they are communicating telepathically. And there aren't a lot of people who look like they don't belong here in this district. Most of them are wearing some sort of semblance of robes or attire or the veil. and it looks like the majority of the people in this district are permanent residents. But you are led to Iris's home, and it's like a good 10 to 15-ish minute walk. And as you approach, there's a kind of relatively large gate that Iris simply opens and walks you into a very large garden. And as you kind of walk through this garden, there are so many various plants, some that look like they probably wouldn't be grown in this region. There's about 7 or 8 wind chimes that you pass, and they fill the whole space with music. There's birds that fly through, and there seems to be several bird feeders throughout. And the house itself is, as you kind of approach it, it doesn't look like there's very many intensely shut doors. It looks like there's a whole bunch of these archways that are open, and there's these gauzy curtains that are blowing kind of like out into the garden. Huge arched windows. It's very bright limestone, and it's very bright to look at. And Iris leads you to the main door.
Well, welcome to my home.
Ravasi, this is a rich person's house.
Yeah.
It's huge. It is absolutely huge.
Is it bigger than my house, DM?
It's hard to tell.
You know he would assess.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know
absolutely.
He would assess this kind of stuff.
It's hard to tell, especially because most of the grounds are made up of very lush gardens. And your home, a lot of the grounds are made up of vineyards, and yours is spread out, especially because of the amount of staff that would need to be kept on for the maintenance, and you have a lot of outcroppings and buildings. So you would get the sense that this in itself as a home is likely a little bit bigger than your main manor, but in terms of property and staffing, yours is definitely bigger.
Good to know. And how... Because rich people do this. Like, comparatively speaking, would he be like, my family's richer?
Roll. Let's do... There's 2 ways to go about this. You can either roll history, or you can roll... I'll do investigation.
History.
Ooh.
18.
With an 18, what you know about the culture is for the people in Simona City, especially in the like kind of higher government agencies and positions of power, they aren't as flaunty with their money. It is present and it is there, but they don't do as much with it, nor do they hoard it. In fact, there's a huge culture of giving and donations, especially if you are rich. Essentially, you maintain what you need to maintain your lifestyle, and a good amount of savings, and then it's essentially expected for the rest to be given to help, to sponsor various charities, to move bills and different things along in government, etc., etc. Your family is the equivalent of wealth hoarders.
Yeah.
So you're likely richer. Like, there's no way you couldn't be, especially the fact of your family coming from off-world. So...
Yeah. Cool. As right before you open the door, you see him change his outfit into something a little less gaudy.
I will give him a slight nod, and then I will open the door.
You open the door, and it moves silently into this very large hallway of this gleaming white marble, and very simplistic stone. And as it opens, you step into this space. There's a pretty bright chandelier that is designed to catch light, and there's crystals that are kind of clinking above you. And Tzira, you you feel like a little ping of like acknowledgement. It seems that you know that your parents have like essentially spells all around the house that will assist in the endeavors of notifying when people have arrived or etc. And the fact that you did not knock or ring the bell says a lot of like who's home. And so you step into this room. The first thing, Ravasi, that you and Komori notice is you notice a very large family portrait right across the way. And there is a quote above it that says, "To heal a single person may save a life. To heal a city, a society, is to save many." And in a gilded frame below it is what you assume to be a family portrait. And I actually have art of this because Cece's amazing and was working on some art of this if you guys would like to see.
Oh my god, yes.
I'm going to direct you to Twitch, unless Cece, if you want to send it in Discord too, that would be amazing.
Oh, it's so good!
Un momento.
Can I get it any bigger? But that is baby Iris.
Look at
Indeed.
baby Iris!
I imagine, especially Ravasi and Komori knowing her, you would assume she's probably around like 14 to 15 there. She already has her under eye circles.
Yeah.
They're displayed in the photo, but it seems whoever this painter was pretty true
Honestly,
to reality. And it is sending right now.
Perfect.
After about a couple of moments, the woman from the painting actually walks into the hallway, as Iris, you kind of let them get a little bit of their to look at this, and you kind of wait, assuming that, especially since you're not like living here right now, this is the polite thing to do. And after a couple of moments, your mother steps into the room. And she looks almost identical to the portrait in very similar but different vestments. A similar dress, but just designed slightly different. This one has bell sleeves that go very long. And her long dark hair is actually braided back today. And she nods at each of you, and then steps forward and takes your hands, Iris, in a greeting, and asks you telepathically, "May I connect with your compatriots as well?"
I will flicker into both their heads, asking the same question.
Of course.
Yeah.
You have their permission.
There's kind of a moment of magic, and you get a very floral scent for just a second, and suddenly you hear the voice in your head, and it's different than when Iris does it. When Iris does it, it feels innate. When she does it, it is magical. And she just says, "Welcome to the Vervaine family home. You are welcome here as companions of my Iris, and your hospitality will be taken care of. May I have your names?" And she reaches a hand out for greeting.
Ravasi will do the rich person, bow over the hand, slight like brush of the lips on the like on the back of the hand. Not a kiss, but like that like what is the word I'm thinking of? That like reverence. And he goes, "You may call me Ravasi," in telepathically.
Okay.
"It is a pleasure to meet you."
The pleasure is mine. And you, ma'am? And she puts a hand out to you, Komori.
Komori is just going to bow. She's trying not to be awkward, but considering the past bunch of information she's kind of had to process, it's still just like, I think she's still trying to see herself as like still kind of salt of the earth, but really isn't sure. So she's trying to keep to that point and just be like, I'm Komori, madam.
And just a note for everybody listening, this is all telepathic at this point. She's casted telepathic bond, and everyone is speaking telepathically unless otherwise said in this space, in this culture. I'm not going to make us continue to say that. So
I say that telepathically, DM. I say that telepathically.
please do
DM.
not. Do not. Oh my gosh. All right. And she nods and she says, "You have great timing, Iris. As we were planning an event for your birthday tomorrow. You will dine with us this evening?"
Yes, and how fortuitous. I'm glad that things went well on our end and we were able to be here in time.
It would have been rather a bit of a social faux pas had we thrown an event for your birthday and you were not present. And she, like, smiles.
She will nod. Well, how have things been going with you and father?
She
A letter.
leads you all into kind of a side sitting room, and it looks like there has been tea that is beginning to be set up. You see a couple of women in simple dresses, in kind of like creams and golden, that are kind of setting up some tea service. One of them also sets up like an iced tea that looks to be a pinkish color, very hibiscus smelling. And there seems to be some little cakes being set out as well, as you all take a moment to retire to the sitting room. So many formal sitting rooms in this campaign. But she just says, "Your father and I have been very busy, as I'm sure you know.
Yes.
I've been trying to connect with several of the other guilds as of late, and strengthening those relationships and bonds. We're having a bit of tensions due to the still tensions between Maria and not Zari, having to go remember what I named countries. Pause for the cause, 2 seconds. There's still some tensions between Maria and Iga, as I'm sure you know, and so I'm having to smooth over guild tensions there. And your father has been working very hard with a couple of new propositions that are going to be brought to that are going to be brought to the Basilica to look at.
Well, I'm excited to see the outcomes, and I'm wishing you best of luck between Maria and Vea.
She nods in acknowledgement. It has been roughly a month since many have gathered, and so we were using the celebration of our daughter's returning and birthday as a moment to bring together some of the higher-ups in order to socialize without a pressure of policy.
She'll nod. Feed two birds with one hand.
Exactly. Iris, they've never done something like this for your birthday before. It's always been the most awkward family dinner and maybe a present.
Yep. And there's just the slightest twitch of her eyebrow that I think is indicative to the other party that something is different than normal. Well, I am looking forward to it. Please let me know if there's any way that I can assist in the preparations. I know that a lot of work must have gone into this, and I am very grateful.
Do not worry. Those in our staff are very capable.
Of course, I still have to offer.
As understood. Now, we do have... I had prepared 3 rooms. Is there only 2 now?
Yes, unfortunately so. One of our compatriots was called towards a different path for the time being.
She nods for a moment. Well, those rooms are available. I have put them on the same side of the house as your quarters, so that you can access them easily. I assume you have much business in town, and will likely be visiting the libraries.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the first time entire visit that like you've seen her perk up just a slight bit, the sparkles back in her eyes.
Yep. Speaking of which, I was wondering if you had any suggested recommendations of where to go around the town.
I'm sure that Iris can tell you where to go. I do not get much time out on the town that is not in business. I'm not positive what is to your taste. There's plenty of libraries in the university district. I know that there's several nice restaurants in this district, or in... there's a couple that are great in the Trunitia.
Oh. Thank you.
You are welcome. Iris, they're the 2 guest rooms closest to you. I'm sure you can lead them there.
Of course. Thank you very much. I'll see you in just a little bit.
Yes, you will. I will see you for dinner at 7 p.m. sharp.
I will see you at dinner at 6:55 then.
And that invitation extends to your friends as well.
Beautiful.
She stands and she leaves all of you. And after a bit, you actually hear the click of the front door. It seems that she has left. And it is
Alrighty.
just the 3 of you, as the staff seems to have stepped away with their jobs being finished.
Well,
I'm sorry, was I breathing too loud?
No. You are fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. You were amazing. So, yes, we do absolutely have libraries and fantastic restaurants, and I am probably going to be doing some research. What would you 2 like to do? Because I can actually tell you where it's going to be fun.
I was going to say, it seems like your mother is, anyway, not one to enjoy towns. A little too busy for it. Sorry, I didn't. That was not meant to be rude, by the way.
No, you're all good. I understand exactly what you mean. They're both very busy people.
Incredibly.
Basically, they're too busy trying to take care of everything that they're unable to enjoy it fully.
I didn't say that.
I don't know.
Ravasi looks like he wants to add something to that, but he gives like the visible maybe I shouldn't.
Oh, so why go out then if you have everything here? Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. But anyways, so I don't know what the heck is going on with this party. Never occurred before. We're going to have a lot of important people here at the house.
Oh, important people, you say?
Define important.
These are the type of people who, hopefully, once I live after this adventuring escapade, will be responsible for how the entirety of the society of which I've grown up with views me.
They're the people who would actively make her life hell if we fuck up.
Oh. I mean, in that same light, anyone who makes Iris's life hell, I mean, we could probably double it, give it back?
Oh no, we will. No, I'm glad you understand. Kamori.
Just
Okay,
slow smile, thumbs up.
I'm very appreciative. I'm very appreciative of the sentiment. However,
You don't need to finish the rest of that sentence. That's all you need to say. Let's go, Kamori. Start walking out, even though you're talking to me telepathically.
This isn't changing anything. I hope you know this. Do you even have a plan of where you're going?
No, but I think I can guess. The more smell of books, probably the closer to your room.
Okay, you're not wrong. And I'm going to start following them. They are, in fact, heading probably in the right direction.
Yeah, they are. You head deeper into the manor. There's a couple of the similar staff members around. It looks like there's only a few. There's not like a ton. Probably like you see maybe 3 people. They are all women or feminine in appearance. And you head towards the back. There's like you accidentally poke your face into what looks to be a very large gathering room at some point, but lead back through into a further area, and you actually step out into a garden, and there looks to be in the back of the garden a sort of smaller manor that's probably an add-on. It's a little bit quicker to get through the garden than it is to walk around the full side of the house, and it looks to be that there's some of the guest chambers, as well as built up on a second level is what looks to be a sort of white limestone tower surrounded by trees and nature. And as you walk towards the back, it appears that this is some sort of guest quarters, and also that Iris's chambers are here as well.
Well, welcome. Oh, sorry. You first.
I was just going to say this feels fitting of some old stories I heard growing up, but
I
different
will
world.
blink slightly. What does that refer to?
Princesses and towers. All right. Well, which room is going to be mine?
I will lead them in, still a little taken aback, and show them to each of their rooms. And I like to imagine there are so many neatly packed away books that the servants have packed away.
Yeah, there's like the 2 guest chambers. It seems that they have been cleared, but you open like I feel like Kamori's accidentally gets lost, like looking for a place to hang out. There is a separate like little living area and kitchenette. And there's a 3rd room that was very obviously prepared for Nyx. Kamori at some point opens another door, and it's just a room full of boxes upon boxes of neatly packed away books.
I was gonna say, there is a point where Komori, it's like she disappears, and you guys are just like, where did she go? And she's just like, her arm is sticking out after drowning in boxes.
But you do eventually, I feel like Iris would show off and give the tour of her chambers as well. So Iris, if you would like to describe what your space kind of looks like.
Absolutely. So Iris's walls are actually mostly dark, and they are painted with extremely accurate detailings of the constellation from where that point in space would put them. And actually, she shows off with her little star chart that she actually has magically, that if she spins the light, it causes the constellations to change ever so slightly as they would with the seasons, the shadows casting a difference. Her bed is actually up in a loft, and underneath is what looks like a very nice desk. The desk actually looks nicer than her bed. There are a ton of different quills, many of which have been worn down to near uselessness. The amount of books could probably fuel a small town's winter firewood need for a season or two. And there are lots of different trinkets around, but otherwise it doesn't seem like there's a lot of personal aspects. It's a bed and a workspace mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome to my quarters. Please make yourselves at home. I pretty much have my own little library here, so if you find yourself bored, there are plenty of ways to amuse yourself there. Otherwise, do you have anything that I can help with?
Are we allowed to make noise in these chambers?
Yes, in guest rooms or within my chambers, that is quite allowed.
I just wanted to make sure that a magical book wouldn't like come to life and beat my ass. And he says that out loud.
You wait a second. There's no magical book.
Good. Kamari, did you get lost again?
Go
Oh goodness.
into
Moment.
the books.
Rossie's gonna like start pulling uselessly on your arm.
It's like a minute straight of just Iris mage handing books up.
Mippet's very helplessly, not helpfully, pulling on Kamori's hair.
Don't sit on the books. They're less sturdy than you think they are.
You know, there's something I've been thinking about, and I'm
Uh-huh.
very curious.
Uh-huh.
Tzira, how come you never animated a book to just have as like a secondary familiar, aside from Mippet? I mean,
Mainly because if I am focusing my magical energy on something regarding a book, I'm focusing it on the pen usually. And also, if I had a book, most of Mippet's use is honestly bullying me into taking care of myself, and if I had a book, I would have to make it bully me, and I know that I can simply not do that.
Kamori, you look over at Mippet, and Mippet is glaring at you.
Well,
Mippet, you're still number one, though.
well, let me. He goes, let me try something. And then Ravasi goes, I think I could animate a book. And then he casts magic. And he does his new thing, which is called animating performance. And the biggest book you have starts to slightly float and straight up starts dancing.
Well then, is that new?
Oh,
Yes,
well, that actually
I
works,
think
yeah.
so. It. By the way, for lack of better terms, this uses the dancing item stat block. I could do much larger items than this. And I'm pretty sure. Gamora, you mind if I try to hit you with the book?
Sure.
And then he immediately slams into you. For 1d10 plus 4 force damage.
Gouchers.
Yeah, we don't need to roll it, whatever, but it does actually damage you.
I'm also I'm also pretty sure that it can't be altered in its form, and it can fly, and it like flies. And I'm pretty sure that if you're nearby, I can change how quickly or slow you can walk.
Interesting.
Only think it'll survive for about an hour before the magic wears out, however.
Okay. Well, good to know. Thank you very much.
Also, hilariously, it does have dark vision for some forsaken reason. Oh, why this thing has dark vision? You can't even look through its eyes. It's a construct.
That's so funny.
I mean, does that mean you can like animate something like a larger statue, maybe?
Yes, I can animate large or smaller.
Oh.
I could straight up technically, I could straight up do a performance of creation and then animate performance it.
It's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
Honestly, kind of wild.
Uh-huh. And then Ravasi is gonna entertain Mippet by making the book dance around Mippet.
Yeah, Mippet immediately starts chasing it. It is like one of those like cat toys that goes around, but Mippet flies. So there is a full-on air battle.
Iris will smile at that and then look back. Well, otherwise, there is one major thing that I would like to do in town. I need to stop by a shop. Very friendly folk, if either of you want to tag along. It is within the speaking district of the town, thankfully, so...
Yes. Are there any little shops we could also maybe hit up? I want to roll more trinkets.
I know so many interesting trinket shops. Now, granted, might have to be careful about checking for curses in some of them.
Oh, that's allowed?
Is that
Well,
not just a
not
given?
really, but I like divination.
Is
And
that not just a given?
Exactly. Well, okay, so I might have pushed the envelope a little bit whenever I was studying here in some aspects, and sometimes cursed objects have a lot more to learn from arcana-wise.
No, you're absolutely correct.
I don't have any in this room.
I don't know why you're saying that like that's something we should judge you about.
That?
I mean,
Are you sure the pile of books is not cursed? Because I sunk into that like quicksand.
Exactly. I was going to say, statistically, there's at least one cursed book in this room.
Oh, for sure. That's like a given.
Statistically, but you don't need to figure out which one of them it is.
Well, now I just want to know out of curiosity.
I was like, yeah, Ravasi's already looking at Komori like, I know what our afternoon plans are going to be.
Something to note, you guys have been on a ship with very limited space and bathing capabilities for the last 2 weeks, and you are filthy, and came promptly here. So you guys are welcome to take some time to like go take a really nice bath before you go out on the town.
Oh,
For Tzira's future, I will bathe.
Yeah.
Which is a hell of a sentence.
Yeah.
Ravasi's even gonna offer Komori some, like, fancy cologne he has.
Look, I will take whatever you have at this point if it means our best friend gets A-okay.
It smells
I
like
don't
sandalwood. It smells like sandalwood. Smell it.
I think something very...
There's, like, did they just take the sandals and mix it with wood?
No, sandalwood is a particular kind of wood. I do think some people make sandals out of it, though, which makes sense.
Okay, that makes a little more sense.
So we speed through the rest of our morning as you guys all go take a very long-awaited, nice hot bath. There's like huge bathing chambers attached to each of your rooms. Iris, you also have an indoor pool somewhere in your house that's like a really nice, like kind of walk-in pool in a solarium that you guys could visit at any point if you would like. Ravasi, roll me a perception check, please. With a natural 20, as you are returning from bathing, and you're kind of like wrapped in a huge plush robe in your room, and you walk into your room, and underneath your like bag, you see something sticking out, and you see that there is a gray handkerchief with gold edging that has a V on it.
Is this who I think it's from?
Oh, it's absolutely who you think it's from.
Oh. It's a gray handkerchief. With what kind of edging?
Gold edging, with a golden V on it.
He's gonna smile really softly. And he's just going to very, very carefully fold it up and fold it into the scarf that he's been using as the like pocket square, and he'll put that in together.
And we're going to pan back over to Iris's room. Iris, you finish your stuff and you're getting ready, and I imagine that you're like kind of resorting some of your books and writing a bit at your desk, and you just feel a prickle behind you, and you turn around and you see a very familiar figure. And I would love to welcome back our good old friend Villano.
Fucking knew it! He's
Hello.
never available to watch.
All joking aside, was not supposed to be off work today. But here I am.
It worked out.
Beautiful.
But
Also, please tell me I'm not the only one who saw that message in chat. I was cackling as you dragged me over here, and I had to bite my tongue, literally.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks for that. I'll call you out on Maine. But, slinking in your corner in your bedroom is your good old friend Villano.
Iris will kind of perk up and, Villano, it's so good to see you. I'm glad to see that you're in town. How have you been?
The truth is complicated. I will go with
It
well.
often is.
I have come bearing gifts, as I have been told is appropriate.
Oh, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Here, please sit down. I should have some tea around here somewhere.
He is going to reach into his robe and pull out a box that was way too big to have fit there. It's looks to be made of a nearly pure black wood.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Please, and I will kind of clear off my desk, shoving some of the books to the side.
The box is now on your desk.
Yeah, Iris will pull you into actually a quick hug. Thank you.
Olano's gonna awkwardly tap Iris on the back, still not used to affection.
Yep, it's real quick. And then I will open the box.
In it is, the inside of the box is kind of a very red velvet, like a dark maroon velvet in the typical colors of your vestments, and sitting on it is what looks to be a skull. It looks very similar to kind of like a humanoid skull, and it has gold filigree all around it, as well as a back piece that looks very similar to the sun with the spikes that come out of it. It radiates magic.
I have also DM'd a
Ooh.
reference image.
Oh, that is cool as heck. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. I can tell it's magic just by looking at it. May I know what the effects are?
I know them not. I was merely given a vision to bring it to you.
Oh, alrighty. Well, thank you very much, Villano. Please, what have you been doing in your time away from us? I'm quite curious. And do you have any questions of your own?
I have not been sleeping. As such, my
Oh,
mind is not quite as here as it should be.
Also, Volano, you're not really supposed to be telling people what you're doing and where you're going.
There is that, and I'm just trying to be coy about it out of character.
fair. Well, hey, I tried.
Tell me,
Uh,
what do you
I-
think of that contact I provided you?
She has been incredibly useful, and I have found many things by her hand. Thank you very much, Villano. I actually should probably write a couple of letters. We have found quite a bit since my last correspondence with her.
Volano, you are aware of the party tomorrow.
Indeed. Well, this event tomorrow. Tell me more of it.
Yes, it sounds like my parents are figuring out how to achieve two goals at once, and we are having both a get-together for my birthday as well as a get-together of some of the higher-ups in town to speak and not have to worry about being in a strictly political station at the moment. Will I see you there?
Yes. Yes, you shall. Myself and my my contact.
And then she steals herself. Oh,
You are permitted to be excited, little head. It is acceptable.
okay, fantastic. Beautiful. All right. I am so excited to meet her. And I now have. I don't even know my words here. Thank you, and I am so excited, and I will make it a point to see you both.
I do have two more questions, if I may.
Absolutely. Please fire away.
First, where is Nyx?
Nyx has been called by her patron to follow the necromancer Lilith, or Lily.
I see. A shame.
Indeed, she was incredibly strong, and she had a head on her shoulders that none of us have at times.
As always, my blade stands ready should you call upon me.
Greatly appreciated. And if you should ever need our help with anything again, please know that I am more than willing to, at the very least, offer it to my friends.
If I may, do you know what puppetry the hand is attempting?
I have to say I'm unaware. Please speak more.
Merely rumors. I will not say without certainty. I just...
Well,
choose your words wisely tomorrow. That's really all I can say.
I appreciate it all, though I have to say that is a concerning statement, both of them.
I dislike politicians in general. A gathering them less so.
That is more understandable. Is there anything that I should be aware of that might cause potential risk to any of my friends?
Not that I am aware of, but I will be watching nonetheless.
Well, I am emboldened to know that even if things may seem odd, you will be there.
A little hand. Do be nice
Yeah.
to Vera.
I will tilt my head. I try to be kind to all that I meet.
Hmm. We shall see.
Indeed we shall. Well,
He's just gonna stare awkwardly at you for a second before just fading into the shadows.
Oh, okay. Goodbye. Have a wonderful time, Volano. I will see you tomorrow.
I feel like you're saying that out loud. And as you were saying that, like, both Ravasi and Kamori are kind of like walking into the room.
I just turn around with a filigree skull in my hands.
Ravasi just goes, "Oh, he visited you as well?"
Oh, yes,
Wait,
yes. Oh, so we
friend.
found out.
Oh, you didn't. I'll have to let Volana know that he needs to be fair for everyone.
The coffee man!
yes, the coffee man.
Indeed.
Good times. As long as he's alright.
It seems so. Oh, sorry, you first.
I said I wouldn't know.
Although, and I will glance around for Volano.
You
Staring
can
at the shadows.
you can still be in the room if you want to be, Volano. It is up to you.
They just can't prove it.
Wait, is that him behind that lampshade?
You look behind the lampshade, it is not him.
Start karate chopping the curtains.
Although I have been informed to choose my words tomorrow very wisely, and that there may be some puppetry attempting to occur from the hand.
Puppetry.
Yes, I don't know what he meant by that, and I suppose we'll find out, but I don't know what he meant by that.
The DM Sly probably should remember this, but I don't fucking remember. The hand, remind me again.
The hand is, I think you rolled pretty well on this. No, I think Iris just explained it to you. She's the daughter of the hand, and the hand is the head of the government. There's the hand,
yes.
the Monis, High Monis, High Core, the heart, and then the Vox. Those are like the three heads of the government here.
Oh, so I get to do political bullshit. Excellent.
That might be incredibly useful, yes.
Am I allowed to throw around my weight to Iris?
Thank you. I would say to gain a better understanding and perhaps a little bit of respect, yes. To threaten in any way or show that you have an upper hand, no, that will not work here. We are...
Me? Threaten?
Yeah.
Never.
Oh, true.
Has actively threatened so many people.
That's what I would imagine would be the most shrewd play here.
Is Volano still in the room with us?
You can roll a perception check.
I'm gonna cast Detect Thoughts and just do a sweep.
She's also gonna cast Detect Thoughts and do a sweep.
How many?
Also planning.
So the door opens. Volano returns from some other room, holding coffee for some reason. Where'd he get that?
Where did he get that? Who knows? I'm assuming you and I both bounce off of his thoughts at the same time.
Yep.
Both
I'd
are
love to-
turn in the direction.
Yeah, I would love to know what Volano's surface thoughts are at this moment.
Yeah, that's a good question. What is
Coffee.
Volano's?
Anything else besides coffee as he opens the door and all three of us are standing there, just like two of us like whipping our heads towards you?
I mean, he's got several years of dedicated military training. I don't think he has many surface thoughts that can be easily perceived.
Fair
That's
enough.
fair.
I
would
would
just love to
agree
know,
to that.
Coffee. Oh, people.
The others.
Uh,
Mori,
well,
do you like my gift?
Wait, what are you talking about? Did I miss something entirely? I mean, the skull's really cool, don't get me wrong.
I left you coffee, did you not?
Where?
In your bag.
It's... Hold on.
Yeah, you look in your
I'm gonna
bag,
go look.
and there's coffee in your bag.
You're the best.
Coffee Man
Thank you.
strikes again. I must know. Sly must know. Does Volano have the scarf on?
It is under his robe, but yes.
Oh, yeah, boy.
I imagine that just as Volano moves, it peeks out for a brief second, just so that Ravasi can see.
Yeah, boy. Oh, so I presume you will be joining us out in the town, Volano, then?
Would terrify certain people.
Let's do it then.
well, I am going
You're
to.
saying I wouldn't be terrifying?
I don't think your admittedly intimidating appearance carries the same connotation as mine.
Iris will nod.
Oh, I'm sure it will be a delight.
So, you are welcome to join if you would wish, Volano. We're going to the patchwork shop.
Yes, let us take the town executioner at the public square.
Ravasi's like, scary dog privileges.
This is the first joke you've probably ever heard Volano tell out loud.
Mhm.
And I feel like
Are we
only Iris gets it.
Yeah. I had to offer.
Well, I have been given the evening. Very well.
Hell yes.
Yeah, you can actually definitely join them, Volano, if you want. People might look at you kind of funny, but if you tuck away the direct symbols to Lady Simona, nobody's going to associate you with anything. They'll just assume you are another passer.
Weirdo.
Another person passing through. So if you wanted to go with them, you could. Yeah.
Cool.
It would make sense. I mean, you need to be able to get around pretty easily with your job.
There's that.
Ravasi continues the scary dog privileges.
And with that, you four now can go head out on the town. Iris, where are you taking them?
Well, I suppose first off for Ravasi, because I do love to indulge the man. Are there any interesting trinket shops that may or may not have cursed trinkets as well?
Absolutely. We are going to speed through all of this because I do want to get to the main event while we do still have a
Yep.
Volano. But
No,
you,
very simply, how much do I need to spend? And I will roll.
there's a montage of you guys shopping in a cursed item shop that Iris knows, probably in the university district. That seems to be a really good place for it. And you are welcome to roll for, let's say,
How many am I allowed? Because Ravasi will go a little crazy if he's able.
let's say 50 gold for 5 trinkets. And you're pretty sure one of them's cursed.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna roll for the trinket table, and then I'm gonna roll a 1d6 to see which of those 5 are cursed.
Okay.
And then, I don't need to do anything special for it, but can I purchase a couple potions of healing?
Yeah, you can just purchase a couple potions of healing. Or ask Kamori, who's hoarding them.
Oh, no, we've actually gone through a couple now. It's 50 gold apiece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna purchase 4.
Okay.
Hey, chat. Someone roll me a d6.
You can just do exclamation point D6.
I have actual dice.
Oh, yeah, roll it for me.
Okay. One
Nick
D6
rolled a 6 too.
Okay.
Well, 6 wouldn't work, because it's 1 through 5.
6 is the reroll. I rolled
6
a 4.
is the reroll. Okay, so, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because everyone wants to know just what the cursed object is.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
Absolutely.
13. A glass jar containing a live goldfish.
Oh my god, it's the cursed goldfish.
Bitch.
Oh my god, the fish is sentient.
Oh my
Kamori.
goodness.
Please tell me the fish is also voiced by Neil Newbon.
I cannot afford that level of voice actor.
In our hearts.
It's so funny. Funny, stop.
Oh, that's amazing.
We
That's
will
amazing.
just- We will decide how it's cursed later, but it is cursed, and
Cursed
So
fucking
fucking funny.
goldfish. Oh my goodness. We go through the montage. I imagine that Iris, are you gonna go to libraries today, or are you gonna wait until during the day tomorrow?
Wait until during the day tomorrow. Mainly just tomorrow we're doing the thing at night, right?
Yes, it's in the evening.
Yeah, I'll wait and do that tomorrow. She is mainly just wanting to say hello to the Nimble Creeks on her first day in because she feels she owes them that.
Yeah, so you lead the group to a very busy square in the middle of the university district. And this district is bustling. There are some people who seem to be speaking in sign language or who are have taken the vow of silence, but there's also a lot of people who look more colorful, more similar to you in the sense that they are passing. They're not permanent residents here, who also have the similar cloth on them. Some of them appear to be students, and there's a ton of people and infrastructure to support them. So you pass by a whole bunch of shops, by a whole bunch of restaurants. There's so many like small apartments or places that are a little bit more like dorms. But in this large bustling square, you see a sign for a tailor store. What does the outside of the store look like, Iris?
It is a chaotic swirl of colors. I like to think that it is one of the loudest points in the square. There are banners that are on the front of the store alongside bells that have been woven in between the different strands that kind of rattle in the breeze. From the front, you can see that there is one of those kind of arched windows with several different mannequins of different species and races, all with different very intricate designs. And I think Ravasi, because Ravasi probably has an eye for this, you know exactly this is where Tzira got her fucking cloak from.
Yeah, baby.
The craftsmanship in particular.
And Iris pushes in to this shop, and it's kind of quiet at this time. It doesn't look like there's a lot of people in the front, but you actually see a young halfling teenager behind the desk who has glasses on, and he seems to be like nose in a book, does not look up when you enter. But as you enter, there's a small halfling, probably 5-ish-year-old, sucking on his thumb and holding like a very patchworked together stuffed animal. And he looks at all of you, and then he pulls his thumb out and he signs, "Hi, Iris," and he like holds up his little stuffy to you to take.
Well, I will take it and then sign back to him. Hi, how's it going?
He signs back, so that you're not afraid again. This is Vinod, the youngest.
Oh.
And then the one behind the shop looks up, kind of actually hearing interactions. And that is Yenser.
But not in Yenser, gotcha.
Yes. And Yenser kind of comes forward and goes, "Oh!" And leans in the back and go, "Iris is here!" And then he walks up to you a little bit and he goes, You've been traveling a lot, right?"
Yes, I have many stories to share. And actually, while he says that, I am going to try and very badly stealth of hand onto the counter, like where they actually put money, 10 platinum pieces.
Okay.
Let me...
So as you're kind of like walking in a little bit more, Komori, the very tiny halfling 5-year-old, like is walking around you a little bit and is like essentially checking you out, and because you're very large and very different.
Totally fair and valid. I'm fine with it.
What were you gonna say, Valana?
I was gonna say if I could somehow assist in the sneaking of the money, because that's just such a good cause, but I don't know how I would do that.
I imagine that you see Iris doing it and doing it very badly, and you just like take the money from her for a moment and disappear into the back or like behind there and stand for a second and drop the money in. I will just say you can for free do that. Your sleight of hand is ridiculous. And these
that was a nat 20, 29 total.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, your sleight of hand is ridiculous.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, Iris, you don't even see Volano do this.
The
Sleight
money's
of
just
hand
gone.
isn't even my highest.
I know it's not. I know it's
The money's
not.
just gone from your hand.
Yeah.
Just gonna assume that it went to the correct place.
I mean, I assume Volano does like a nod when he returns from his 2 steps away.
What do you mean? Volano never moved. His posture's just suddenly different.
Exactly. And as Yenser calls into the back, there's a little bit of a flurry of noise, and out bursts a very bright-haired, older halfling woman. She has like the wrinkles of like smiling and laughing all on her face. And her hair looks to be pulled into a very messy bun on top of her head. And she just bursts into the room and she goes, "Iris!" and runs towards you and gives you a huge hug.
Absolutely. I will give her a huge hug back, and this is the first time her posture has relaxed. And she like pulls back and she goes,
"Oh, look at you. You're so beautiful." And she's like doing the face pinching. And she's like, "Oh, you haven't changed a bit, and yet you look so different. Oh my goodness, and your hair's growing out more." and is like fussing over you.
Oh, you notice. Yeah, it's so good to see you. How have things been? Is business good?
Yes, it's been really good recently. There's been a little bit of an influx in trading from the Kyoto nomads. It seems like some of the things that have been happening there smoothing over, and so trade has been opening back up a bit more. We've also had an influx of trading. Oh, I'm sure you heard those in Rosewick had such a horrible year for some of their goods. Oh, the farmers were just plagued by giants. But then it seems that there was a group of people who handled some of the giants in the area, and so they've been able to trade a lot more, and we've been seeing a lot more people come in, which has been so nice. Oh, and there's like a whole bunch of couple new university students coming in.
Oh,
Lovely.
I will kind of smile at that. I'm very glad to hear that. I've heard a lot about the giant problem that's been going on. Kind of giving her a little bit of a smile as I say it. I don't mean to intrude too much. I apologize. I know I popped in without much warning.
Oh, you are never intruded. Absolutely never. And you brought friends. Oh my goodness. Hello, my name is Marhaley. It's nice to meet you. You can call me Marhaley or Mom or Miss Nimble Creek. It doesn't matter. And she like goes up to you, Ravasi, and she just straight up hugs you.
We love someone who is very comfortable with strangers. A pleasure to meet you, ma'am. I am Ravasi.
Yeah, she will go around and she will like introduce herself and go to like hug each of you should you accept it, but if you do not, she will not force herself.
Komori is absolutely taking the hug.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just need a mom hug, man.
Look, she does not know what that's like, and then it's like, you see she starts getting a little emotional after.
Oh, it's okay, dude. Let it out. It's okay. You,
Oh god, don't tell me that. I'm gonna...
You look like you need a hug. Oh, you're also Battleborn. Have you been handling things recently? Do you have scars? She's like looking on Iris's arms.
I imagine there might be one or two that are still lingering from the time she got shot up in Calturn.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, she almost died, actually.
A couple times.
Don't tell me that. I don't need to hear that. Oh my goodness.
I have it handled.
I mean, to be fair, she's pulled us out of a lot more situations than we've been in.
Oh, I'm sure she has. I'm so proud of her.
Ravasi is giving the look of like, I see we've met your real love.
Iris just smiles slightly. Yeah, it's actually been a lot. And I will, making sure that there's nobody from town that I know in the shop, I will do just a quick little flourish of the cape and change the cloak back into Tzira's. If you've heard the name of Tzira Flint floating around, that may or may not be a certain somebody, and a certain goods made by yours truly, and I will flash it back into my normal robes.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I haven't heard that name passed. Do you guys have like a group name? Are you doing group things?
We do not have a group name. No, but we do group things.
Yes. Actually, the hill giants that you were talking about earlier, that was us.
Oh, it was? And actually, Yenser, the teenager, is all up in your business. How many hill giants were there? Are they really as big as they say? Are they like super tall? Are they bigger? Are they really, really fat? Do they like to eat things? Do they eat people? Do they eat ants? Like,
they're
well,
fat
there
and
was one really, really big fat one, whose name was Gug, right? And she was the chiefess of all of these hill giants, and she had taken all of the husbands from all of the other hill giants and were having them catch food, and it was blocking off the trade routes and everything.
And I think we just fade off into this scene of you guys kind of all sitting in this shop. Vinad, the 5-year-old, has decided that Komori is his new buddy and is sitting on Komori's lap as Tzira is launching into this tale. After a couple of minutes, a smaller halfling girl, she looks to be like 11, 12-ish, comes out, and she's holding like embroidery and looks to be putting amazing embroidery on a really elaborate jacket, and after a little bit, like, leans over and shows it to Ravasi, and then, like, goes back to it, and she's listening to the whole tale as well.
Oh, Ravasi just gives, like, the older sibling nod of approval.
Ravasi, roll a perception check.
While Ravasi is rolling that, Volano is just very glad that Ravasi distracted, oh goodness, now I'm spacing.
8!
Well, now it's not relevant.
Give it to me.
Volano, I will say, you notice this. Ravasi, you do not. The girl has 110% stolen 2 buttons off of Ravasi's cloak.
Oh yeah, kid! Hell yeah,
Okay.
kid!
Volano's just glad he didn't get wrapped up in the hugs part. He's cool with that.
And it wasn't that you didn't get wrapped up in the hugs part, it's that you were, like, kind of faded in the background enough, and she got so distracted by the scars on Kamori.
Yes.
So, but
Volano was satisfied with this result.
and noticing that Ravasi got robbed by a preteen halfling of his buttons.
Can I
Hey, look.
steal them back?
It's funny.
Easily enough, I think. I'm not, like, if you want to roll for it, but unless you don't roll a nat 1, you're good. This is a child.
Yeah, I mean, the
32.
child did successfully steal from Ravasi, but Ravasi
Well,
also...
that's another nat 20. I'll send you the screenshot.
I don't even need to. You
Ravasi doesn't even know this happens.
easily steal the buttons back, but she, like, fully clipped them from his jacket when he wasn't looking. So there's not a way to return his buttons without sewing them back on or just giving them back to him.
Oh no, they'll just be in his pocket.
Just
They're
also
Volano's
just put them in
now.
his pocket. He's gonna
No,
be like,
they'll be in Ravasi's pocket.
Oh!
Ravasi's gonna find them and be like, the fuck?
Oh my god. Volano has protected Ravasi from the thievery of his buttons.
Very important.
I mean, if Volano knows how to sew, he could put them back on. But I don't.
I mean, in
it's funnier
theory,
this
he's
way.
had to repair his own equipment, but I think it'd be funnier if they're in his pocket.
Okay, valid. Great
Ravasi
character
will
choice.
just find them later and just be like, what the hell? Did
Um,
I get punked? Am I getting punked right now?
Yes.
After a little bit, there is an older gentleman who kind of walks into the room. He nods at you, Iris. You know this to be Marhali's husband, Zonin. And he's kind of the quieter type, so he, like, listens for a little bit. He nods at you all, and then kind of goes back to, you presume, finish working. He's very much working on things always. You guys spend a couple of hours here, and it's very warm and cozy, and there's the feeling of family. After a bit, Yenneser does go run and get sent out, even though he does not want to go out, and comes back with, like, a whole bag of pastries and, like, sandwich-like materials so that you guys can have lunch. And it is, you tell her of your exploits and the giants that you have fought and whatever else you want to impart knowledge-wise.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think she gets pretty much everything that wouldn't endanger future missions.
Got it. And also, I assume you're doing I'm telling a story to my mom. I'm not going to do the danger. I'm gonna make this PG for the kids involved and not tell about Kamori dying or, like, the graphic gore. But yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to tell about the baby rocks that we killed.
No.
We're leaving out the baby bird murder.
Mm-hmm. Or
anyone want coffee, by the way?
Ravasi just eating lots of things.
Yeah. Volano, you can hand your coffee out at some point during the tale.
Except to the children. No
Ew.
children.
Yes, do not give children coffee. That stunts their growth. Although the 16-year-old will argue with you that he is 16 and deserves to try coffee. And with
Even
his...
I'm not fool enough to get between you and your mother.
with mother's permission, you are allowed to give him some coffee. But, is there any specific conversations you wish to have with the Nimble Creeks?
At some point, and I'll make sure that this is now fully in Marhaley's head. I will just simply say, in one of the moments where, I imagine Ravasi and Komori are either talking with Villano or with the kids, I will just kind of connect to her head and say, Miss Marhaley, thank you so much for pushing me and seeing that I could do something with this. It's been so much easier since I've been on the road and I'm useful again.
And I think she leans over a little bit, and she kind of grabs your hand for a second. And so, you two look like you're kind of staring on, the scene, and she's holding your hand. And in your head, she's used to this. She just says, you needed it. You needed this to be pushed out. And I'm glad that it is making that big of a difference.
I feel like I can breathe again.
And it seems like you have people around you who can help you and that you can lean on. You found your family.
Iris will nod. If you or your family ever need anything, please call on me and mine for as long as I live.
Oh, I know. And I'm not saying that as you owe me or anything. I know that I can lean on you.
Good. Good.
And I know that I am already you, as it sounds like. So keep doing your hero stuff. And we will always
I'll
be
do
a
my-
safe haven for you to return to.
And I will pull her into a hug.
She gives you a really big hug, and for a moment it feels like home.
Oh. Beautiful. And I will actually, by the end of it, have Miss Marhaley help pick out a dress for my birthday party.
Oh, easily. She picks something out for you that you really like and immediately launches into 16 ways that they can make it better, and tailor it to you. And then, essentially it's a flurry of everyone drop everything, we're doing this and making this happen. And, the shop is now very busy with tasks. And you feel like it's a great moment to take your leave, and you can come back and retrieve your dress tomorrow.
Beautiful. And once we exit, Iris's posture straightens back up.
Okay. I think with that, we can fade back into the evening as you guys do the rest of your shopping and do things around the house. And as we come back to your very strict timetable of dinner, I think that this is where we're going to take a super quick break. So we'll be back in just a couple of moments. See you all shortly. And we are back. So, we're going to kind of quickly fast forward to dinner as you guys all get back, get ready, get fancy enough for formal family dinner. And indeed it is rather formal. It's a pretty large dining room, although based on the meeting room you saw earlier, this is definitely not the largest dining room in the manor. And it's a very long table. And Iris's mother, who you had met earlier, is sitting at one edge of the table, and at the other edge of the table is a man that you have not met yet, but you assume to be Iris's father, the High Monis. Cece, I don't want to butcher his name. Will you say his name out loud for me for the first time?
Crumbain.
Crumbain. Okay, thank you. And your mother's name is pronounced Moira?
Yep, Moira and Crumbain.
Okay. They have, in additional greetings, they have told you to call them Mr. and Mrs. Vervaine, is what they have told you to call them.
Ravasi, in the quietest voice, mutters, I wonder if this is how they have sex too. And I think only
Komori's
Komori
basically-
hears that.
Komori
I
is
think
trying
only
not
Komori
to
hears
hurt.
that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And while trying not to burst, just slugs Ravasi in the arm.
And so they're having a little bit of a tiff during the soup course. Oh my goodness. But it is a very formal dinner. Essentially, Mr. Vervaine is requesting a report on how Iris's studies are at the guild, and wants confirmation that you guys are also indeed guild members, that the Wyvern's Wing is a very established guild, and wants to know how things in Naso are.
Iris is doing her absolute best to answer these questions entirely honestly, and also skirting around the truth at the same time. Her reports are actually the reports that she's been taking from people through the way. She definitely talks about how Komori and Ravasi were big helps to the guild, and while they are not members yet, they are certainly eligible for entering should they so please, given the help of a fine young noble and saving Naso, and will give a very detailed note of the recent agreement between many nobles that happened in Naso, because she's sure he'd be interested in that.
Yeah, he's very interested in that. And that's pretty much, like, that's enough. And Ravasi and Komori, that's not enough for how many months Iris has been away, but that's enough to sate his appetite. He's cool with it. And there is a moment where he goes, I assume this is why I heard stories of you on a certain yacht from Maria.
Ravasi will actually speak up at this and be like, oh yes, we unfortunately had a talk with someone and they were an unsavory sort, and he's gonna leave it at that.
I understand.
In that very like disapproving sort of tone.
One of those, you have to involve yourself with unsavory sorts in order to get the knowledge you need. I understand.
Yes, unfortunately so.
It is the involvement with unsavory sorts that needs to happen in order for them to rise to their true station.
I will give a very assertive nod in agreement.
There's some brief conversation of the party tomorrow, and Mr. Vervaine, or the High Monis, kind of just says at some point, there will be a lot of those of the Vox Court there tomorrow evening. You both are welcome. I will just... If you need to slip away at any point to have a quiet evening, you are welcome to that as well.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you for your kindness.
Essentially, you get the sense that it's You're allowed to come rub elbows with the nobles, but if you don't feel like you can maintain that, leave.
By the way, Ravasi has had his signet ring on this pinky, but he hasn't said shit about it yet. Or hasn't said shit about, like, who he is. He's kind, like, he's not trying to, like, show off or, like, for lack of better terms, kind of, like, dick swing around her parents.
Dick swing. Sorry, I'm an immature teenage boy.
Aren't we all just immature teenage boys at heart?
Yes. Yes.
I think that as the main course is being cleared away, Mrs. Vervaine leans in. Do you, Ravasi, have any sorry, my brain just froze. Zari's brain just, like, straight up froze. That was really weird. Do you, Ravasi, have any relations to the Ribbonvine family from Sailstone?
Oh, he looks down. You are incredibly perceptive. Yes, I am the firstborn son.
Oh. There's, like, a look to Iris, and, like, a nod. And then back to Ravasi. It is a pleasure to formally make your acquaintance. I appreciate the knowledge.
Yes, yes, of course, of course. Apologies. I prefer not to, my family is private, you understand.
Yes, and I'm sure that, especially with your longevity and the longevity of your family, you're taking time to spread your wings and learn of the world before you are expected to be back to run the family. And she smiles.
He smiles and he goes, well, even when one is away, one is never done with their duties for their family.
Oh, yes. And Komori, are you of noble standing, or are you working hard to bring yourself up through the guild?
Well, I don't believe I am of noble standing, but recent information that the others are helping me investigate may prove differently, to say the least. So, right now, I'm just trying to better myself personally.
That is very noble as well. That is something, and then actually, Mr. Vervaine, the High Monist, chimes in. That is something that we care about a lot here in Simona City. There are so many resources for people to work on bettering themselves and to work hard to improve their station and improve their lives. That's why many people travel here, especially for the case of healing or of any magical or mental problems, as well as to have more opportunities in trade and guild systems. As I'm sure that Iris has told you.
Yes, self-awareness is very important.
Zari's like, ouch. But it doesn't seem that he notices. Damn, okay, Ravasi.
He's on his best behavior, guys.
The end of dinner comes. It is very stuffy, and there's not much other conversation had. Like, it is awkward silences, and for them, it's comfortable. And I will say that you are all kind of, like, dismissed. And at some point, as you guys are leaving, your mother will pull you aside, Iris, and just say, are you having relations with the Ribbonvine son?
My face goes bright red. And there is this moment of just stock still as Iris has to get her brain back into act normal, act calm, you're fine. No. we have been building quite the companionship, but no, we are not having relations, nor am I searching for that to be the case. However, in terms of Solstone and its anonymity to guilds, I'm sure that building a friendship is helpful.
Yes, it is. I just worry because as the eldest of the Vervaine family, it's probably expected that he takes his station, and I assume that you will want to eventually return here and rise up in the government like us. And
Indeed.
that would be, if he were not the firstborn son, or maybe not expected, I don't know of their lineage inheritance there, I would maybe say it could be a good match otherwise if he was willing to move here. But if there is no interest...
No, I are you, no.
The friendship indeed will be helpful.
Yes. I have been working to expand many during my time in Nassau. Thank you for asking.
She pats your hand and she leaves completely unaware that she just destroyed you mentally. I feel like Iris walks back into the guest chambers with like a bright blush.
Oh, Ravasi is gonna look at you and go, I see she asked if we're gonna boink.
Yes.
At this point, Volano, you open the door and Volano's just sitting in someone's room sipping coffee.
Yeah, I say that, and I look at you and I go, oh, hello, Volano.
Hello?
Yeah, she asked.
Yeah,
And then
you,
was like... Sorry, you first.
I was gonna say, don't feel too bad about that. Not my first, nor my last time something like that will happen.
Yeah, it's a fun conversation when your mother basically says in the most polite way possible that if I'm going to go fooling around with a noble family, to do it with the second son or later.
Why the second son?
Well, because I'm going to come back here and be the next generation of Vervaine and politics.
She doesn't want you to be part of my family. Right. Well, don't worry about that. Anyways, besides, if anyone starts asking about it tomorrow at the party, I will simply, in the most wistful tone ever, just simply state that my heart belongs to another. It usually makes them feel a little bad and awkward about bringing something up, especially when you get a little teary-eyed.
I am fully endorsing this. I'm gonna go dunk my face in a bowl of ice water.
Have fun! Sorry, I figured I'd have to check a little casually. Because I'd rather it not happen tomorrow. Because it was gonna happen regardless.
Yeah, I know. I knew the moment that I invited you.
At least you were aware.
Oh my goodness. I think with that, we are going to fast forward through the next day. If there is, we will do a little, Iris and I will do a little bit of a library montage off stream. But I want to make sure we get to this party. And it is the quietest preparation for a party you have ever heard if you're sticking around the house at all. And when the evening comes, the gardens are lit up with so many lights. And the main hall where the party is being held is, there's not really like a dancing culture here. It's a lot more food and moving around and talking. And Iris would explain to you that at one of these parties, there's a likelihood that more people will be using their voices or sign language, or if they walk up and they kind of like stand in front of you, you can give permission this way with this sign. You're telling Komori that they're allowed to telepathically talk to you. But it is a beautiful meeting hall with long tables, and it pours out into the gardens, and it's absolutely stunning. There's food, and there's wine, and there is so much tea. And it's small in that it is not a huge party. It's rather small, and it seems that the guest list is very intimate. But you can all find yourself there. I assume, Iris, you have time to go pick up your dress. What does it look like? I'm kind of curious.
I think.
Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
No, you are all good. It is this very autumnal kind of look, actually. It's not quite the golds and maroons of the colors of Simona City and that her mother and father normally use, but it is a nice almost there from her normal pinks and yellows that she wore as a younger child. And I imagine that she has definitely put a lot more work onto her face veil this time. There's a little bit more jewelry, some that drapes underneath her eyes, kind of covers up a little bit of the eye bags. The dress itself is this nice, just kind of burnt orange yellow up at the top, with a couple of different flecks that are almost like wind blowing through, and then lots of frills cascading down. Her arms are covered. It's very modest. She's not really showing much off, but the colors are gorgeous.
Ooh. Ravasi, are you wearing similar attire to what we've seen before, or are you changing it up a bit?
Ravasi goes for the like classic all black like tailcoat, like 3-piece suit, tailcoat. He's got the waistcoat on, like super like formal, super boring, except for he does have a very beautiful tie. That is purple.
Okay. Komori, I'm telling you, you have your pantsuit, and that's it.
Oh, trust me. I know.
And luckily, that was in the bag of holding and did not get stolen by odds.
Oh, thank God.
And the three of you are gathering. You're seeing the party start to kick off. Iris is with her parents greeting people as they walk in. And Ravasi, you and Komori are... Oh, sorry, I just registered the purple. I'm gonna cry. Okay, sorry.
Ravasi is very intentionally not matching to Tzira.
Yeah, but is matching someone who's not here.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. And okay. And so, Iris, you are greeting people as they come in with your parents. Ravasi and Komori, you're kind of watching this, and you're also... Nobody's really interacting with you. It seems that they don't really know who you are yet, and so they're kind of not interacting with you yet. You do see at some point that there is a woman who walks in who looks to be... she is... ironically enough, a red-skinned tiefling, which you have not seen very many of them here. And she is in full maroon robes. So she's just dressed head to toe in the color maroon. And she has a beautifully elaborate gold veil that covers her mouth and then also entwines up into her horns. And you actually even see like little scale trinkets hanging from her horns. And she greets the family very, very intensely, and she actually like leans down and gives Iris a hug. Iris, this is the High Core, the leader of the church here. And you would know her. She's very, very kind. And her name is Erin, is what she kind of goes by with an A. but she mainly just is called the High Core.
Gotcha.
And she's very sweet. She's a very kind person, and is this generation of the Vox Court, between her, who is very like a different race, a species than has ever really been. There's a lot of tieflings who live in Cajito, and so her family had migrated over to Simona City, and she rose up into and was selected by the Vox because of her heart and her studies. And then your father, who is the first man ever to rule on the Vox Court, period. So this is a very interesting generation of the trio.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens is next, a couple of minutes later, the other guest that really stands out to you is a very tall, almost ethereal high elf walks in, and her robes are the most classic that you've ever seen in all of the pictures. They're the very classic, like, maroon with the gold tinge on the side, the symbol of Lady Simona on the chest. However, instead of the face veil, she has a veil over her eyes. Very similar to Villano, actually, and what Villano wears. She has a veil over her eyes, and only her mouth is visible, and it is painted a red that matches her robes intentionally. And behind her is another high elf, who seems to be considerably younger. Ravasi, you would actually recognize that she's probably less than 100 years old. So a baby is likely rising up. For those who don't know, elves mature at the same rate as humans. However, so like a teenager is a teenager, a young 20s is young 20s, and actually Nyx was in her young 20s. But elves who are less than Ravasi's an old man. Elves who are 100 years or younger are usually viewed in elven society as like babies, essentially. They're like viewed as like 20-year-olds who are just partying, going out. So she looks like she's probably on that cusp. Is definitely a high elf. She's also dressed in the extremely traditional robes. However, she does have the face veil. And she holds a lantern in her right hand that she seems to carry with her, and it actually gets tied at some point where she needs a hand to greet someone. It gets tied and is dangling to her robes. And on her arm is Villano. Villano, what is Villano wearing?
So, Villano is also going to be wearing some fairly conservative robes, nothing too fancy. They are, however, kind of this shimmering gray that kind of reminds people of storm clouds. With gold trim, of course, as one does. His eyes are covered by a simple cloth wrap of the same color. There's a hood built in, but it's currently down, so it's actually like not covering his head for once. He has white hair, which is currently done up into a long singular braid, which is running down his back.
Very cool.
There's also going to be some symbols of Simona a little bit more subtly woven into the outfit.
Important question. How uncomfortable does this man look?
He looks completely cool, calm, and collected right now.
Oh.
And he's like the and actually, to Tzira, you would know this woman is known as the, hold on, let me make sure I have her official title, is known as the Vox's Lantern. So essentially, the Vox always has an assistant, and they are her sight, essentially. So they serve and accompany her to make sure that you get the sense that the Vox has some sort of blind sense, probably similar to Villano, but that there's always someone accompanying the Vox as an assistant. They're usually very magically inclined, and they kind of serve as the Vox's eyes.
Iris is very calm and collected while she shakes hands. Internally, she is having a nerdgasm over the fact that her informant is the Vox's lantern.
You figured it out so quick. You greet the Vox, who kind of just greets you, and the Vox actually fully speaks out loud. She's one of the only people who speaks out loud because she is literally the voice. And she just greets you with a very soft hello and a happy birthday, and then thanks your parents for inviting her before moving on. And then who you now know is Vera, the Vox's lantern, also greets your parents before greeting you. And as she takes your hand, you see her sparkling blue eyes amused over the veil, and she just kind of leans in, and she actually fully whispers to you, and she just says, "I knew I would meet you at some point."
I'm in her head saying, "This is so cool. I want to talk to you later."
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, Volano said that we needed to talk later. We will definitely connect. And you see like a soft smile before she promptly steals herself, much the same way that you do before like fully greeting your parents and moving on into the rest of the room.
So before I respond seriously, I just need you to understand that the first thing that popped into my head at the introduction was a song from Bible school when I was like 8. And I was like, oh no, this little light of mine.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, there goes my childhood. Okay. Religious trauma aside.
But the party...
Volano's just full on in guard dog mode, by the way. He is full neutral.
Absolutely. And it does seem that Vera does split off from the Vox at times. She follows her for the good first part of the party, as people are coming in and mingling and greeting, but she does eventually kind of split off. Volano, you are free to move about the cabin. You are not required to stay with her the whole time.
Yeah, but I'm gonna.
Okay.
I did want to point out for my poor description, for those listening from home, picture Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender, but replace the ponytail part with a braid and paint it white.
Mm.
That is Volano's hairstyle. Have fun with that mental image.
Hell yeah.
All good. But yeah, you can stick with them, especially because of what your job is.
Well, yeah, but Vera just needs supervising.
She does, but she's fine. She's got it. She knows how to handle herself in polite society.
Vera is baby, must protect baby. Vera is my daughter now, adopted.
Never mind that she's like at least 80 years older than you.
Don't care.
Child is a mindset sometimes, okay?
Exactly.
Oh, goodness. But the party begins. There isn't necessarily any music, but you can hear the sounds of the night and the chiming of all of the wind chimes in the garden. The food is delicious. It is very well done. And it seems to have a bit of everything. There's some pieces that are from Naso. You find a couple of meals that are typically native to Quijito, which is a desert region, as well as some goods that are in from the Isles. And it is delicious. But after your greeting, you are free to move about the cabin, Iris. You can do whatever you would like to do. And is there any goals or anything that you want us to zoom into, my good old parties?
Ravasi has found an appropriate corner table to seat himself and Komori at.
Valid.
And also, very notably, is in a corner where if Tzira needs to be like, I need a minute, is like pretty far away from prying eyes.
Beautiful. I think, I mean, there's the mandatory, like, stand there and wait as everybody walks in, hello, but then there's also, like, the slightly smaller expected make a circle, say hi to everybody, not while standing in a line and shaking their hands, hello. And Iris will definitely make sure that she does as such so that she is not the worst 22-year-old not host in the world. And then she will actually drift back to where Vera is because she is so excited.
Yeah, and after that initial greeting, so you actually watch as the Vox Day goes around and does a very similar thing. It seems that everyone's kind of doing that. They are taking moments to like talk to each other and actually interact with everyone before they kind of have done their things. And you feel that after that, you're both kind of doing the I see you across the room. Okay, I'm free now. I was starting to drift towards you. And you make eye contact like a good 3 or 4 times before you do manage to kind of gather around one of the like tables set out with tea. And she picks up a tea next to you, and Villano is, are you staying on guard duty with Vera, or are you going to stick with the Vox, Villano?
So once Iris approaches, Villano is going to silently nod, offer Vera's hand to Iris, and then go walk over to stalk the box for a minute.
Okay.
I mean, I've already said it, of course, but hello, you know me, obviously. It's very nice to finally meet you face to face, and thank you so much for the information that you've given me.
Absolutely. And at this point, you are now talking in your heads, although she did speak out loud to you, which is a little odd, but, and as she kind of like takes your hand and squeezes it for a moment, and she just says, I'm so excited to meet you as well. I'm kind of shocked that you didn't figure out who I was when I was first writing to you. But, I mean, I don't know that you understood the full implications of Villano's role and the government because, you know, they're not really in the open. But, anyway, I've been doing a whole bunch of research and I haven't come up with anything new or interesting, and I just feel like maybe I'm not looking in the right places.
All right. Well, first of all, yes, I had assumed that you were somebody in the Vox's inner circle, though I didn't know exactly who. But I suppose, what roadblocks are you hitting regarding your research? And I will actually sit down, and I'm not going to do it everywhere, but I will do just kind of like a little minor illusion of different journal pages that I have just on the table between us.
Okay. Yeah, she like leans over it kind of close to you, and she smells a lot of like, you get a lot of floral on her perfume, and she starts pointing at some of it, and she actually begins to minor illusion, and she shifts yours, which is really complicated magic, actually. Most of the time you don't see someone who, you can layer illusions, but to actually take your illusion and shift it, she has to be pretty powerful. And she begins to start to show you, and she just says, I haven't heard the moniker the Betrayer before, which you were saying was a tie to this blue dragon. I have, however, known that there's no registered blue dragons on Illume, but so then I started going and I started diving into some of the knowledge that we brought with us from the mother library, for lack of a better term. And she's like, I assume you know, but I was doing a little bit more research into there, and I don't have a register of a ancient blue dragon of this size, especially one who has the ability to shapeshift into a human from this system. And as I was kind of telling you earlier, even in the old even in the old world, the chromatic dragons don't have the ability to shift into a humanoid appearance. So it struck me as really odd. And so I think that she's from a different system altogether.
I've considered that as well, especially as we've been traveling. We've found that many of the giants are either looking for things from off-world, such as the Von and Dodd, or are trying to uncover old buildings that are from different systems that have somehow found their way into ours. It would not surprise me if the betrayer is so caught up in this that perhaps she is also from one of the common worlds that the giants are pulling from.
Yes. Actually, I know this because I was doing a whole bunch of research into the giant issue, especially because Volano has mentioned that you've been caught up into it, which is very brave of you, by the way. But from what I see, there was the old world, Gaia, and Gaia was old, and we were a very young system on the side of it. Some of us were, well, not me, but some of our people were adjacent to the pantheon that ruled Gaia, but they were not part of it. They might be descendants, so think like your demigods or your patrons or your people who are your beings who are trying to rise up to be a part of the pantheon. That's kind of what the current pantheon is now to the old world. The old world had a whole bunch of giants, and when it died, you know how the Feywild attached to Ilumelan?
Yes.
I think that when it did, because the Feywild has such a deep tie to the material plane it's connected to, I think it brought some of that with it. And with that, some of the giants were teleported here. And I think that some of the things that they're seeing is actually from Gaia, so it's from our system. However, I do know that the giants used to worship gods that were not part of the system, and I'm still doing some research if the former pantheon banished them, or if they were a part of the former pantheon, or if they were just like renamed, you know how some people call gods by different names. But I think that they were somewhat attached, but they either no longer exist or they have lost connection with the giants. Whether they were banished by the previous pantheon or what.
And I will actually start drawing up a new paper as we're speaking. Well, there are at least 3 figures that I can tell you are most certainly in play at the moment. 2 major, 2 minor that are of a similar variety in the demigods and patrons and such. We have one named Vyasna. And I will minor illusion up her symbol as well as a couple of images from my vision.
She hold on. Okay. She goes, oh, I recognize that name. I've seen that in she was a part of the former pantheon.
Oh, fantastic. What does she rule over?
I don't remember.
Well, from what she was telling me, it was a fate and of stories.
Huh.
Tobias and I worked on a sort of souped up contact to other plane.
Make an insight check.
Alrighty. Uno momento. If it'll roll. It will not roll. I'm gonna have to do it regularly.
It's fine.
So it's +5. And I get my chat guidance on this because this is the first time I'm rolling.
You do get your chat guidance on this.
Righty, and then let's add the chat guidance. 19.
With a 19, the face she is making is not, first of all, she's not trying to hide anything from you. She's very honest and she's very excited about talking about this stuff with you. And you get the sense that there's, for all the knowledge she has, it seems like she thinks she should have this knowledge. And it's weird that she doesn't. Almost like there's a weird block on it. And she looks very confused. Like she's reaching for something that should be there, and it's suddenly not there.
Interesting. Okay. There is a secondary figure who, for all intents and purposes, I can only refer to as Vyasna's daughter. There is some connection. I don't know if it's daughter, child. At the very least, Vyasna's child. Who is connected in some manner to silence and seems to favor fire as a damage type.
Interesting. I have not heard of that.
And keeping Ravasi's face out of it, I will be minor illusioning up the burns from when his patron tried to kill him.
Okay. She takes some notes of it. Okay.
And this one's the minor one amongst the three. However, I was skeptical, but I cannot fully deny it. Another deity of some sort of luck, named Bob, seems to light things on fire or cause odd things to happen with perhaps sorceress types of magic. Yes, I know.
A deity that causes sorceress magic?
It messes with magic in some kind of chaotic or luck-based way, it seems.
But sorcerer's magic is innate, not brought on by worship of a god or a patron.
It seems like you've seen how a wild magic sorcerer's magic goes, yes?
Yes.
Imagine that, but not with a sorcerer's magic. That's the only way that I have to compare it is to a sorcerer inflicted with a wild magic.
There's... How many people have you encountered that patronize, that sounds odd, that worship, supposedly? Revere, there we go. That revere this patron?
I've only met one so far, so it's a very small data set. However, truthfully, I've seen no ways to hide somatic or material components, so I don't think it's that. And otherwise, truthfully, this is gonna sound very uncouth, and I do not mean this in a hateful or negative way, but the person who revered him seemed a little too not there to be able to trick me.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that he couldn't be tricked. I'm kind of... There's one being who likes to appear in different ways and mess around with...
Oh, Sham.
Yes.
God damn it, Sham. Sorry.
Yeah, tell him that was Cece.
No, that's that.
Is Bob really Sham? Ooh.
You don't know.
So I'm right.
Not necessarily. I'm not positive because this would be a very interesting way, but I'm just saying for magic to interact and a patron who pays that close of attention and has that amount of power to change someone's being and still pay attention to them, it would need to be a very powerful being. So that's why it comes to mind. Huh.
That makes a lot of sense, yes. But those are the three that I've seen that are most certainly in play some way or another. The others of the old pantheon I know not.
Okay. I will do some research on, and you see her mouth open and then stop. Who was the first's name again?
Ooh, this is so interesting. I am going to very quickly write out a cipher, which Tzira always has her cipher for her notebook, and I'll write it out for Vyasna's name, and I'll write down her name in the ciphered code, and then the cipher separately, and give it over to her.
Okay. She catches onto the cipher like stupid quick.
Yep. It's not that difficult. Iris is not a master code maker. But she'll kind of go, Vyasna, and I don't mean to, I suppose, push, but it seems like you feel like you should know more here, and you don't seem the type to forget a name of something that might be worth researching.
No. It feels like there's a wall. Or that she is but a mist. I can't grasp onto it. Odd. I'll do some research on that as well. She looks very confused.
Tzira will nod. If you should ever find yourself forgetting or feeling that something's prickling in the back of your mind, please just write me and I will remind you. I have my own notes as well to make sure that I forget nothing.
Yes.
Let's see. And I'll kind of keep flipping through my pages for a little bit. I suppose that's all that's coming to my current mind. I mean, Lily continues to be a problem, and I'm not quite sure of Uthgar yet. It also seems that something with... Lilith was originally going after the ring that Artist Climber had, and through my attempts to look in on him on his past, that's blocked in some kind of manner.
Oh, it probably is a non-detection magic of sorts. Especially if there's this magical artifact that's this powerful, it's probably innate to the artifact. And if Artis is with it, then he himself would be impossible to scry upon.
Still nod. I suppose I have a question. Do you know of any artifact level rings that it could be?
Not based upon the description on this world, unless it is unregistered that came over with a family from the old. But considering the research that I did, I do not believe that there is such a case.
Interesting. And I suppose one last thing, and her face gets gravely serious. This must be handled with the utmost carefulness. Please, lest anything should happen that is emergent to the city or to anybody's lives, do not take action on this. Simply, information is all I ask for. And I'm going to push forward a little copy of the information that I've gathered on the Vervaine conspiracy, although I am keeping any of my conclusions out of it.
Okay. She matches your seriousness and she nods. Of course. I will do some research and write back.
Thank you. I have my own conclusions, but this is one of those things where even written word could potentially be dangerous.
You see her wave her hand over it, and it turns into, you watch as the letters turn into your cipher, and then you watch as they disappear.
Beautiful.
And she tucks said blank piece of paper into her sleeves.
Everything's fine, guys. There's nothing going on over at his house. It's fine.
Yeah, that's what the crow said.
Don't worry about it. Nothing's wrong.
Everything is awesome.
Exactly.
Well, I've done a lot of picking your brain, Vera. Is there anything that you'd like to pick of mine?
I think that if I answer that question, we will be sitting here all evening, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I would enjoy that, but unfortunately, I have a job to do. And you see her kind of like look around a little bit, and like notice where the box is, and then like look a little bit further and notice that she seems fine. It looks like she and the High Core are talking, and she turns back to you. Okay, but you have to tell me. So you mentioned that there was the stone giants, and then also you mentioned you are secretly working with Tobias. What does he know about the dragons? And like she begins to ask you so many questions about the giants and what you've seen, and about your relationship with Tobias and what he's seen, and if you've encountered any dragons. And you get the idea that she's really excited about dragons in general.
I will absolutely nerd out with her about dragons, and I am like especially nerding out about the 2 white dragons and 5 eggs that we just released into the world.
She's stoked about that. Although she does express some worry about she like does the, you know, like when you release an endangered species that is also very dangerous, it's like that feeling, like the excitement of an endangered species getting like populating, but worry about the endangered species being idiots and not sticking to their territory and dying.
I have the same concern. However, I am emboldened by the fact that white dragons are probably the most isolationist and also weakest and aware of that dragons. So hopefully.
And they're very territorial. So the hope is that the isolation of the reverberant sheet will keep them separated from the adventurers that are setting out from the village of Hearths.
Indeed.
Yeah. Do you share with her about Tobias's secret research and how he's created some dragons here, or no?
What I will say is that yes, dragons can be created. It requires intensely high-level magic, because that's not giving out anything that I'm not sure could be dangerous.
Okay.
And also true no matter how you cut it, because true polymorph is the thing.
She gets so excited about it, and you see her like get excited, and as she gets excited, she begins to like, rather than talk in her head, begins to talk, and then she like has to catch herself and stop doing that and continue to like talk with you in her brain. But like you guys at this point have been chit-chatting for like over an hour.
If you look up at all at any point, you will have noticed that Ravasi has spent a large chunk of this evening just, if people start approaching your table, just absolutely distracting them away.
That's so cute.
Also, at some point, Volano has brought Ravasi a drink and then switches between trailing the box, saying hi to Ravasi, and hanging out with Komori.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
They were letting you have your moment being a nerd at your birthday party.
That's all I want. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, you two are very cute together.
Does Ravasi actually say that out loud?
He will later.
Okay.
Sure, we can fade to that scene. Yeah, she, unless you want to introduce her to the rest of your friends, she would request it.
Oh yeah, I would absolutely introduce her. Like, this is my buddy now. Excuse me. We're friends.
Yeah, as you guys get up from the table, and she snaps her finger and she fully dispels all of your notes on the table. And Ravasi, what you would have noticed is you walking by, you couldn't read the notes.
Yeah, he figured.
It's impossible to read, and you know that that's not what Tzira usually does. So
No.
But you guys all kind of gather at a place out in the gardens, the lights above you, the wind going through all of these wind chimes. You hear a water feature trickling off into the distance, and she will fully speak, and actually she fully detaches her veil and hangs it on the side. And she will like fully speak and greet both of you. And she's very like stern at first, and then she gets really excited, and she's excitable.
It's a lot of trust for a couple of strangers.
Oh, are you speaking of me speaking out loud?
Yes.
Oh, actually, it is common knowledge that the Vox's lantern, when she does her service to the High Vox, that actually, okay, it's not common knowledge, but it's common knowledge in the Vox's court, and she like nods over at Iris, that usually the Vox's lantern is being trained to be the next Vox, should something happen. A safety feature. So I'm allowed to both use my voice and my sight until there is a need for me to have it removed.
Removed.
Correct. When the Vox steps into the full position of the Vox Dia, she becomes the spokesperson of the Silent Goddess. And in doing so, she gives up her sight.
Iris is quietly making notes because it has up until now been unclear whether or not the Vox Day is the same person from the beginning of Ilumelan, and she has now had that confirmed.
So it is, yeah. So she is the same. You would get the sense from this conversation that the Vox Day is the same person from the beginning, especially with her longevity. It makes sense, but that they have a safety net in case. And eventually the Vox Day will likely pass it on to Vera. And then she'll kind of like lean in a little bit. This Vox Day decided not to. She selected me as her next of kin. And I'll be honest, she's kind of the only family I have at this point here.
Lana suddenly feels sad about that for some reason.
And then she'll kind of like lean back and hook her arm through Volano's for a moment. And obviously there's other people that I get to interact with and everything, so.
Fascinating. Yes, these are, you've heard a little bit about them, but Ravasi and Komori, Nyx is no longer with us.
You say that like she's dead.
Well, she's alive, she's just on a different mission.
She's no longer traveling with us.
Yes, that's the correct terminology.
For such a steeled person, Volano, you would recognize this as Vera has fully opened up to Iris and now views Iris as a confidant, because she's letting the full array of her emotions go across her face. It was concern, sadness, concern, and then, okay, I'll trust you that she's okay.
She is the most capable out of all of us, I won't lie.
Oh, I don't know that I would say that. I mean, it seems that each of you have different gifts. Your capabilities lie in different skills. So comparing your capabilities to select one to be the most capable would be like comparing apples to oranges.
Let me rephrase. She is the most capable survivability.
Oh, I understand now.
She can take a fireball.
We're also not sure if her patron would let her perish, so.
Oh, who is her patron?
Ravasi would know, but Sly, blanking.
Her name is Morgana.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Ravasi would know that information. I don't know that everybody else was told.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll just state. Cause does he know if that's a secret or not?
Nyx never told anybody, but nobody ever really asked except for you. Morgana, I don't know that you would have heard of her, but from what Nyx sounded like, she seemed like a kind of common Like,
Yeah,
not like a
then-
super secret deity.
Okay, cool. Then he will say Morgana.
Oh, that's amazing. I know that I've been hearing a couple of... Oh, okay. So you see, the Lord of the Dead, a lot of his realm is starting to... First, the Loom was getting overrun with dead souls. Then the Lord of the Dead started taking on some of those dead souls, and he's struggling a little bit. And so he birthed a daughter. I'm not quite sure how it works, if he had relations or how
That's
that
tough.
Yes, but Magnus actually has an offspring in Morgana, who seems to be, if he's the one who rules over the afterlife and seeing that souls get what they are due, if they are not embedded to any other god, although they typically pass through him anyway, she is the guide to make sure that the souls that need to die stay dead, and the souls that don't.
Checks out.
There's been a lot of good information about her.
Nice. Makes sense. Nyx is a very good person.
It.
Well, do you have any... You seem like the curious sort. Do you have any questions for us?
Oh, I'm certain that I could talk with you for ages and ask so many questions, but I do believe that things are starting to quiet down, and I should probably get back to my duty.
And I should probably, I suppose, see a couple more faces, and don't want to be accused of favoritism.
Oh, but
Oh, don't worry. Most people have been pretty distracted from you, to be honest. Your parents are having a ball of a time.
I'm sure they are.
and besides, if the daughter of the High Manus and essentially the heir to the Vox become best of friends, I'm sure that people won't have a problem with that. And she like smiles at you.
That's very fair.
Okay, well, with that, I will bid you all goodbye. And she pulls the veil back over her mouth, and she bows at you all rather formally, and begins to walk back to the Vox. And then she turns around, and as Villano's, like, I imagine, starting to trail after her, and she points, and she, like, just points at you to go back.
Yeah.
Looks disappointed, like
Ravasi-
a kicked puppy.
Oh,
Yeah. Ravasi's gonna pat Villano on the shoulder and then look at Iris with the most shit-eating grin and go, well, she seems lovely.
She is lovely. I'm totally not getting it.
Oh, no, of course not.
Milano's
she's
gonna
very
slowly look at Ravasi.
I'm gonna be like, you two were even holding hands. That was quite friendly.
We weren't holding hands. We were going over notes. By the way, you should see the way we can actually.
I mean, Villano did offer her hand to yours.
Well, yes. Oh,
He's staring at you now.
I see what you're putting out there. She starts going red.
I don't think she necessarily viewed it as that sort of situation either.
Anyways,
She's quite pretty.
no comment.
Milano is now going to look very closely at Iris. So choose your next words carefully. And he's staring at Iris in a way that only an older brother can. He just doesn't know how to describe that.
It's just a very wonderful company to talk with, and a lovely soul. It
This is
reflects.
the part where you agree with Ravasi.
Oh yes, she's very pretty. Sorry. Yes, she's a very beautiful soul, both inside and out, and a wonderful conversant.
Hmm.
I'm teasing her, Volano. You don't need to add it on.
I know not of this teasing. Vera is merely the greatest. She is the greatest sibling I have ever had.
Oh,
Oh,
I am an orphan. This was simple. I have only interacted with a person so many times.
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, yes, I'm just terrible. Things like this, Milano.
well, anyway, you were trying to say something else.
What is in this drink?
He sniffs it, takes a little sip, swishes it around. Tequila.
I like this tequila.
Yes,
Drop
I believe it's called a pina colada. I'm honestly a little shocked that they're serving it here, but it's late enough in the evening. People can get a little fun.
The day that I see my parents get a little fun is the day that I will eat my robes.
I imagine
Don't
those
me.
wouldn't taste very good.
Metaphor.
No, I mean physically.
Ravasi smiles. Well, I will happily help you cook those up. Anyway, you said you were about to say something before I started the teasing.
About her magic.
Yes.
Yes, her magic is amazing. That's, I mean, I suppose elves do get a bit longer to practice, but it's incredibly impressive.
I mean, she's not much older than you. No, she's like almost 100, right?
Yeah, probably.
He goes, he's not much older than you. Wait.
Metaphorically,
Maturity-wise.
okay, that's what I thought. Yes. Volano, please, whenever you see her next, please pass on my compliments to her spell tailoring. It is simply exquisite.
Yes. I shall do this for you.
And mention that she thinks she's pretty.
Iris shoots Ravasi a look and goes red.
Well, I sense no denial. Come, Komori, I require another of these pina coladas.
Oh, so what you're saying is we're gonna get more fun.
Yes.
I imagine that between Volano and Komori, you do a pitcher of pina colada heist, and manage to commandeer that and a couple bottles of like a really nice wine, and slip into a forgotten part of the garden that Tzira knows with a beautiful gazebo covered in string lights, and you spend the rest of the evening kind of excused from the party, essentially, spending time with your friends. You can drink as much or as little as you want. I assume they snag some tea for Tzira or those who don't want to as well.
This is one of the
Volano
few
has
times that you will
never been
actually
drunk
see
before.
Tzira drink.
Damn!
Oh.
Hell yeah, celebrate your 22nd party in style.
Yep. Ravasi will find some little cheeses and share them.
Volano has never been truly drunk before. This will be new for him.
Roll that con save.
Ooh, yeah, let's see if Volano actually gets drunk.
Alright, hold
Ravasi
on. Hold on.
Ravasi is being a proper DD. He only has 2 drinks.
Okay.
Well, the luck gods have spoken. That's a net 1.
I imagine that Volano accidentally gets drunk. He probably doesn't understand that pina coladas are alcohol, or what tequila is until halfway through the night. He's a little sheltered in that regard. And I just like have a scene in my brain of he's not going back to his home or wherever, and he just crashes in somebody's room.
He
crashed
is going to
Ravasi.
use Ravasi as a crutch.
I love that.
Ravasi,
Um,
why are you suddenly so tall?
Because you're slouched over.
Hold on. Let me borrow your chest. I need to stand. He's like gonna reach up for your shoulders, trying to stand himself up, and just fail miserably.
He's gonna do the classic, like, he's gonna, like, sigh and be like, do you want me to carry you back to my room? Or just lean on me?
I don't want to go yet.
Okay.
Keep in mind, for those not paying attention, Milano still is only speaking in sign language this whole time.
Yes.
Yes. But in the gardens, you are able to kind of chit-chat a bit more out loud. But the evening comes to a close. Eventually, Volano does crash in Ravasi's room, and you all find an evening's rest. And even though there was likely some political stuff happening in the background here, Iris, it was still a pretty decent birthday party.
Yeah, it's her first one.
Yeah, it's so sad. And I think with this is a great place to end our session. Yes. As the evening fades and we kind of zoom out from the gazebo as we watch our group walk on back to the guest houses, trying to figure out their next steps. And next session, we will see what happens as they keep on their mission. So with that, we're going to end this episode here. If you're with us on Twitch, stick around. We'll chit-chat for a little bit after. But if you are with us on YouTube, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you enjoyed down in the comment section. We will have a week off of a session again, just because partially for some scheduling stuff, and also it's my birthday. So we will be skipping a week, but we will see you all shortly as we go on the next leg of our journey with maybe some new friends and maybe some new faces. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.